Oh my goodness. I need a little lippy. Good morning. I'm getting the YouTube started over here. As you join, if you could like and tap the screen, share out the live, do all the good things. I think I should be able to do that. Okay. Let's turn this off. Let's go. I need to log out. Over here. Good morning, Holly. Good morning, Jason. How are you guys this morning? Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing out the live and tapping the screen. I really appreciate it. I think that's what one. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Hello, Bubble Mint. Welcome in, Bree. Welcome in, Vice. Thank you so much. You guys, I haven't begun the video yet, but I did download all your videos today so I could start it. I've been crazy busy, you know? I've actually just been creating so much, and that feels good, actually, you know? What? Why am I verifying this right now? I don't know my login for all these things. Wow, thank you. Wow, that was loud. It's asking me to verify it's me, and I haven't had to log into this email account in like a year or two, so I don't even know. I don't know if I'll be able to verify it's me. I don't know if I'll be able to get YouTube started this morning because of it. And since it's taking me so long to get here, to get to the code they sent me, I'm gonna run out of time. You guys, the pressure's on. Good morning, buddy. Oh my God, I finally got in, and thanks, TikTok. I just ran out of time. Resend code. I guess I can resend the code. Well, that was stupid. Why put a time limit on it like that fast if you're going to just allow me to resend it 10 seconds later? That's stupid. No. 121994, you guys. 121994. Now you can all get into my account. Oh.
Only if you're already logging into that account and asking for that number.
All right. Now we got that pulled up. Now we'll open OBS, and that probably won't work. And then we'll have to restart the computer and start over from step one, because that's what happens to me. Oh, look at it. Just started on the first try, you guys. It's An atheist miracle. See what happens when you do your atheisms? OBS starts on the first try. That's what happens. That is what happens. You guys, I do have an Auntie sermon for you this morning. So if you enjoy Auntie sermons and you think somebody else might enjoy them too, then go share this out. Share this out, especially with women, because as you know, in my Auntie sermons, we are decentering the men and we are asking the women to step forward and tell us their stories. This has been, you guys, I had no idea like what I was going to go through emotionally writing these sermons. They're very emotional for me. It just, you know, I think of that little Christian woman that I was. Hang on one second. Hey, babe, there's a cat convention right by the door. Would you be able to see if that's because they need out or something? There's literally 4 cats at the door.
Okay.
All of the cats are now at the door. You did? Jason, I need to know about this sermon. That's really cool. Yeah, it was a cat convention. I feel like they were plotting against me. I'm not sure. I think that they're trying to make it so that I get fired. Those bitches. I don't like working with them anyway. They always got to lunch without me. Oh, cool. Okay, yes. I would love to hear it, Jason. I would love to hear it. Yeah, my kitties are always plotting against me. That's how they are. I want to make sure I can pull up my Auntie sermon over here on my iPad, so I'm going to do that real quick. Then I'm going to play you a little music. Jason's going to come up, tell us his story. I'm really excited about that. I forgot what I was going to do. How do I do it over here? How do I do it? I guess I just do something like this. And then I just go like this. Okay. I should have you guys start guessing who the next girl or girls, woman or women in the Bible are. Hey, Jason, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing well. Okay,
Doing
so
well.
tell me about this.
So I guess I'll preface the story with the fact that my grandfather went to a Catholic high school in the 1940s. And then when it turned time for me to go to high school, he bribed me to go to his alma mater by giving me a car the day I turned 16. So,
Wow.
no kid's going to turn down a free car, So
No,
I wind up.
I was offered a free car for something too. I did not turn that down. When I was in high school, my parents said, "Give me all your money, let us investment, and we'll give you a car." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, well, yeah, that's different than, hey, do you want to go to a different high school?
Right, right, true.
No, so I'm lucky. I deconstructed when I was in my early teens, like 11, 12, 13 years old, when Pastor Tim at Bethel Baptist Church in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, told me that Adam and Eve didn't actually exist. And at that point, it was kind of like, if they didn't exist, what else in the Bible is bullshit? And that was the keystone in my deconstruction. So, but yeah, no, I went to this Catholic high school, and the brothers, the Christian brothers who were principals and teachers and everything, they all lived in a house together across the street from the high school. And it turned out that my assigned parking spot when I was there happened to be directly in the path that they would walk to get into the school, into the back door of the school to get to school. And this is the mid to late 90s. And you remember like the mean people suck bumper stickers?
Yeah.
I cut the word mean off and I just put people suck on the back of my car. So, and it was like dead
That's
center, black background, white text. It just said "People suck" above the keyhole on the trunk of my 1993 Pontiac Grand Am, right? And
awesome.
they would have to walk by it every single day walking into the school, right? And and this is where the story takes a fun little twist, because I was a good little kid in that I never skipped school. The one mass in the 4 years of my Catholic high school education that I skipped was the one about my car, because they would walk past the car every day. And one day the sermon was about how to look on into the book for the positives in people and how people don't actually suck and blah, 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 blah. But, but so I had skipped mass that day because my schedule allowed it. The high school I went to they didn't have like first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth, yada, yada. They had the school day was broken up into 16 different chunks between 15 or 25 minutes. And you could have classes that were either 2 mods, 3 mods, 4 mods long. And by senior year, my Fridays were literally like I came in at 10 and left at 1. Like that was my school day. So if there's mass in the morning at 9 o'clock, I'm not coming in for mass if I don't have to be there.
Yeah.
So I skipped that mass and I'm walking into school as mass is letting out, and everybody, because I'm very gregarious. Like I can have a conversation with about anybody about anything. Everybody knew whose car it was, and they all from multiple grades, like kids I didn't even know. They all came up to me and were like, "Was that you? Was that your car?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about." But they clued me into the fact that the brother who wrote the mass about my car and
That
about
is
looking on
so funny.
for the positives in people and all this stuff. And I always give a little bit of a postscript to this story by saying at least he didn't look on top of the spoiler, because on top, and I'm dead serious here. On top of the spoiler was a sticker that says "Jesus loves you. Everyone else thinks you're an asshole."
I would have loved it if he did a sermon on that.
And
That would have been awesome.
they'd either never seen that one or decided we're just not going to touch that one.
That's
But yes,
hilarious.
so 4 years of high school, I skipped one mass, and it was the mass that was about me. So that's my little. I had a sermon written
See?
about me.
God didn't want you to be there.
I honestly, I can't even tell you how I would have reacted. I would like, because the way that because when I say I was like gregarious, like I was the guy who like in the lunchroom, because I didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so like I would wait tables in the lunchroom. Like I would I'd sit at a table and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get some food. Does anybody want anything?" And this was like a private Catholic high school, so like some of the kids there had tons of money, and like they'd be like, "Sure, give me a burger and fries," and they'd hand me $5. Well, a burger and fries was $2.30. So, and they'd let me just pocket the rest. So I started grabbing a
That's cool.
giant tray, and I would like go wait tables in the lunchroom, and I'd walk out of there with 30, $40 on a lunch period, you know? So, but by doing that, like everybody knew who I was. So I'm sure had I been there, I wish I would have been there, because like I'm sure they were looking around going like, "Where is he? Where is he?" Because we know
Yeah.
exactly who it is. So, but
Oh my
no, it
gosh.
was
That's fun.
the one mass in my 4 years of high school that I skipped, and it was the one that was about my car.
That's
So
funny. That is really fun.
that's my
But by the
story.
way, you were right. People do suck. So
Oh
I'm
my
really proud
God.
of high school. You,
You know,
you were
I'll
a wise high school kid. You were.
I'll be honest too. And like, because I found, do you remember LiveJournal? Like one of the old original like blogging websites. There was LiveJournal. Like it
Oh,
was
okay.
before,
Yeah, I do
like
remember.
it
Like
predated
back
MySpace, right?
blogspot.
Yes,
Back in
yeah.
blogspot days.
I wound up finding my old LiveJournal from 20 years ago.
Ooh,
And aside
wow.
from some language that wouldn't be considered PC, but was a little bit more acceptable back in the day, my views haven't changed. My opinions on things haven't changed. Like I'm still the same person that I was And when I found that, when I started crying, because I'm like, I still like I've been
Mm.
sticking up for people's rights and the rights of the marginalized and everything for 30 plus years now at this point. So, but
I
yeah,
think that's why a lot of us were Christians, right? Like, because we actually thought that that's what it represented. It's when that starts to fall apart, you go like, wait, what?
yeah,
I need this to align with my actual values. And when you realize it doesn't align with your values, that's the problem.
yeah,
But I think I'm the same way. I I didn't always understand because I was indoctrinated into a very conservative Christian home, how sometimes things seemed fair or people lied to me and told me they were fair or right or whatever. And then later I would realize, oh, that's not true what they said.
yeah.
That was a lie, you know?
Or when
But
they say
yeah,
like, oh well, it's all part of God's plan. It's you
yeah,
just gotta. It's just that's just the way things. That's just the plan. So you gotta just deal with it.
exactly.
Like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna make my own life the way I want to do it. So, but yeah,
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
that's my fun little like. I have so many stories from high school. Like, I won't lie. Despite it being a Catholic high school and me being forced to take like religion class every single year, I still had a great time there. Cause like,
Oh, well, I went to a public high school, but we were friends with everybody at the Catholic high school, and we did things all the time over there, and we all hung out together. It was awesome. It was a great school. We loved it.
yeah, yeah, no, like there was a lot of like public like not public events, but like events that we held and like different competitions and like we because it was a private high school, the fundraising is always an issue. So we would do an annual raffle, and like the grand prize was like 10 grand or something. But the whatever homerooms sold the most raffle tickets could actually win like time off of school. Like you would get to skip days of
Wow.
school if you
That's
sold
fun.
enough. Yeah, yeah. So like it was fun. I had a good time at that high school despite the religion. And I'll say this as well. Freshman and junior year, I had the same religion teacher both years, and he was an agnostic. So he let me explore some of the more fun verses of like Leviticus and some of my so things that he probably never showed anybody else higher in the administration, but that I got away with because I approached them with rationality and with like
Yeah.
sincerity and like talking about how some of those Levitical laws are just like, why do we need a law forbidding this or preventing that,
Right.
or dictating that women should only and women are unclean for this because, and it's like, that's a bodily function. You're going to punish
Right. It's
someone for a
so
bodily function?
dumb.
What? So
There's so many weird, dumb things, and I don't know why I believed it for so long. Like, I believed
I,
it much, much longer than you did.
well,
uh,
it's like you said, it's indoctrination. They get you when you're young and they just kind of force you to believe. They just say this is the way it is and the way it's going to be, and you don't question it because, well, mom and dad, grandma and papa said this is the way it's supposed to be.
yeah,
And
exactly.
and
Exactly.
and and like you said, like they do focus. I won't lie, they do focus a lot on the positive stuff, but and this is something I always think about when I'm watching like you debate or like Joel Mezzo or anybody debating. Like the theists, the Christians, they'll accuse us of cherry picking verses in the Bible, but they don't understand what the fuck the term cherry picking means. Because cherry picking is picking all the sweet things out of the Bible. We see the sweet
Right.
things. We just also acknowledge the bullshit. We acknowledge all of
Exactly.
the horrific, horrible things that are contained in that book, and we don't cherry pick just the good things.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what they do.
Yeah,
I do see you in the box. If you are friendly right now, friendlies can come up. Good morning, Joel. You are probably just scrolling by, but hi, good to see you, Joel. Good to see you, Tahir, Godwin, everybody who is here. Thank you so much for being here, Vice. I'm about to do the morning Auntie Sermon. If you're friendly and you want to join, Godwin, if you want to join, anybody wants to join, come on up. And then after I do the morning Auntie Sermon, we will go ahead and bring up believers. Okay, so we will bring up believers in a little bit, in just a little bit. Hold on. All right, you guys, welcome to the show, Vice. Welcome to the show, Godwin. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and start. So if you'll mute up, I will begin this morning's Auntie Sermon. And I was going to tell you guys that I think that it'll be fun for me to have you guys guess who is the next girl or girls, woman or women listed, named or unnamed in the Bible. Because I don't think you'll guess most of them. I think most time you'll just go right by them. Today's is about Timnah. And I don't know. Can anybody tell me in chat? I'll give you like just 1 minute because I don't want you to Google. Okay. Who Timnah is? Because I literally did not know.
No clue here.
Okay, I don't think anybody does know in chat. So we're going to start with Timnah today, and we'll learn all about who she was and why she's relevant. Is she a sister in Numbers? Nope, we are still in Genesis right now. She might be mentioned in Numbers, though, again. Maybe she is. Joel, I think she might be listed as a sister in Numbers. You're right. Wow, good job. I forgot that she is listed again. But here we go. The verse that brings her into the story, Genesis 36:12. This is from the web version, and I use that because it is in the public domain. Timnah, oh, you guys, I'm going to butcher these names today. I'm just going to do my best, okay? But they are hard today. Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore Eliphaz Amalek. These are the descendants of Ada, Esau's wife. She quietly enters this space, and if we're being honest, she's easy to overlook. Even her name feels ordinary. Timnah. It almost sounds like a softer version of Timothy. And Timothy has never exactly shaken the earth. No offense to any Timothys out there listening. Timnah arrives with a single identifier. Concubine. That's the frame the text gives her. And then the verse keeps moving. These are the descendants of Ada, Esau's wife. The genealogy settles under the wife. Even though Amalek came from Timnah's body, the lineage is organized elsewhere. That's how this chapter works. Genesis 36 is political memory. Chiefs, clans, kings, territory. It's a document of structure and rank, and inside that structure, Timnah stands. Named, positioned, placed within a hierarchy. Concubine, mother of Amalek, recorded in the architecture of a nation. Her name, withheld. Timnah, her name is connected to the Hebrew word manah. And this root is heavy. It means to withhold, to hold back, to restrain, to prevent, to deny, to keep something from someone. These aren't cute personality adjectives. This isn't patient or sweet or faithful. This is withheld. And make no mistake, withheld is not passive, it's active. It implies an agent, a decision, a force that blocks the flow. Something is being kept back. Something is being denied. Something is being stopped. And the reason I'm staying on this word is because scripture uses this same root in really specific ways. So when I say Timna means withheld, I'm not just vibing. I'm showing you the weight that word carries. Here are a few places where the exact withheld word shows up. Psalms 84:11. For Yahweh God is a sun and a shield. Honey, could you bring me a drink when you come back? For Yahweh God is a sun and a shield. Yahweh will give grace and glory. He withholds no good thing from those who walk blamelessly. Proverbs 3:27. Don't withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in the power of your hand to do it. Genesis 32. Jacob's anger burned against Rachel, and he said, am I in the place of God who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? Job 22:7. You have given no water to the weary to drink, and you have withheld bread from the hungry. Do you hear how that word behaves? Withheld good, withheld the fruit of the womb, withheld bread from the hungry. Withheld is a pressure word. It carries tension. It carries deprivation. It carries a sense that something that should have been given wasn't. And here's something almost funny. Don't confuse her name with manna. Manna, the bread from heaven, means provision. It's what God gives. Timna's root means withheld. One word feeds, the other stops the flow. And in English, manna has one less N. That's how you can remember the difference. Timna, manna, the extra N is withheld. Provision versus prevention. Given versus kept back. That irony sits right there in the sound of her name. So when Timna walks into Genesis 36, a chapter obsessed with rank, structure, and who gets counted, her name reads like a quiet warning label. Withheld. And yes, you'll sometimes hear the root translated as restrained. Restraint can be strength. Restraint can be composure. But restraint also means you were stopped. You were blocked. You were prevented. You were not allowed through. And when I read her name in this chapter, where everything is lineage, hierarchy, withheld doesn't feel accidental. It feels deliberate. Timna, withheld. The hinge from brothers to nations. Before we go into this, I should let you guys know that any story that has to do with the Edomites has a special place in my heart. Partially because Mezzo is a descendant of the Amalekites. Don't believe me, just ask Joel. But also because I have always related to Esau. I always felt like a child that was hated before I was born, and I didn't know why. I felt like my inheritance was stolen, not necessarily in the literal sense, but figuratively. Though maybe some of it was stolen physically too, and that's another story. I felt duped. I felt betrayed. With everything that I had lost, I felt somebody else must surely have received my blessing. And as a Christian, I didn't really know who the Edomites were. I didn't know this whole story. But I related to Esau. And now that I know the whole story, I still have a deep love for Esau and his descendants, and honestly for every marginalized person in this book. So now let's talk about Jacob and Esau. Not just the demise of their relationship, but that's the part everybody knows. Let's also talk about how they came together, because that part matters. Jacob and Esau were twins. Same womb, same father, same blood. Before they were born, Rebecca is told 2 nations are in your womb. The older will serve the younger. Hierarchy is spoken over them before they ever take a breath. Esau comes out first. Hunter, field, impulse, red earth. Jacob comes out grasping his heels. Strategic, observant, tent dweller. Isaac loves Esau. Rebecca loves Jacob. The division begins in the house. Then comes the birthright, a bowl of stew. A decision made by a starving man will echo through generations. Then the blessing, the deception, the goat skins, the father who cannot see, the blessing that cannot be taken back. Esau weeps. I weep for him too when I read that. It's not fair, and God never corrects things that are unjust. It's like he's in on it. Esau begs for something, anything, and there is nothing left to give. That is the fracture. Esau vows violence, Jacob runs. Rebekah loses one son to distance and the other to exile. Isaac loses both in different ways. Years pass. Jacob builds wealth, builds sons, builds narrative momentum. Esau builds his own household in another land. And then comes the moment nobody preaches about long enough. Genesis 33. Jacob prepares for death thinking that Esau will kill him. He divides his camp. He rehearses apology. He bows 7 times. Esau runs toward him, not with a sword, with open arms. Please let that sink in. Esau ran to Jacob. He had loved Jacob the whole time. He missed his brother. They embrace, they fall on each other's necks, they weep. There is forgiveness there. Not perfection, not sameness, but forgiveness. And then in Genesis 35, they bury their father Isaac together, side by side. The last time we see them in the same frame, they are standing over their father's graves. Brothers. No banners, no armies, no national identity. Just sons. And then the page turns. Genesis 36. The language changes. Chiefs, clans, territories, kings. The story stops narrating relationships. It starts mapping power. The last time we see them as brothers, they're standing at their father's grave. One chapter later, the story stops calling them family and starts calling them nations. That is the hinge. And Timnah enters right there. Every time Timnah is mentioned, if we are going to take her seriously, we need to look at every place her name actually appears, not tradition, not commentary, just the text. There are only 4. 4. Genesis 36:12. Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore Eliphaz Amalek. These are the descendants of Adah, Esau's wife. That's the first. She is identified by status, concubine, mother of Amalek. Next, 36:22. The children of Lotan, and this is where I think she's mentioned as sister. The children of Lotan were Hori and Heman. Timnah was Lotan's sister. Same name, possibly the same woman. Possibly a different Timnah. The text does not clarify, it just lists. Next, 1 Chronicles 1:36. The sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, Kenaz, and Timnah, and Amalek. Chronicles repeats the genealogy. Names compressed, no story, no explanation. And finally, 1 Chronicles 1:39. The sons of Lotan were Hori and Homam. Timnah was Lotan's sister. That's it. 4 mentions. No dialogue, no speech, no narrative arc, just placement. Her entire canonical footprint is genealogical. She exists in list. She exists in lineage. She exists in political memory. 4 verses. And centuries of theology built on the son she bore. Rabbinic teaching, Christian teaching, and extra biblical narrative. Now that we've met Timnah, now that we felt the hinge, now that we know what her name carries, let's talk about what men did with her, because the text gives her almost nothing. But tradition had plenty to say. Rabbinic teaching. In the Talmud, Sanhedrin 99b, there is a story told about Timnah. The rabbis say that Timnah wanted to join the family of Abraham. She wanted to convert. She wanted to be part of the covenant, but she was rejected. So she became a concubine. Eliphaz, the son of Esau, Eliphaz, the son of Esau. And the teaching goes like this. Because she was not accepted, Amalek was born. And Amalek later became the enemy of Israel. And the moral of the rabbinic story is this. Do not reject sincere converts because rejection creates enemies. Now pause. Notice what happened. Timnah becomes a cautionary tale, not a woman, not a person with longing, not a human being navigating hierarchy, a lesson again. Her rejection becomes the origin story of Israel's greatest antagonist. Her wound becomes a theological warning. That's rabbinic memory, Christian teaching. Christian commentary rarely develops Timnah as a person. She is usually mentioned briefly as the mother of Amalek. And Amalek becomes the sermon object. Amalek becomes the archetype of the enemy of God, the symbol of the flesh, the representation of opposition to divine purpose. Timnah disappears. Her son becomes metaphor. She becomes footnote. Extra biblical narratives. In later Jewish and medieval commentary, additional stories appear. Some speculate about her lineage. Some speculate about improper unions. Some attempt to explain why Amalek became what he became. But notice the pattern. The traditions are obsessed with explaining Amalek. Very few are interested in understanding Timnah. And that tells you something. When a people group becomes enemy in sacred memory, their mothers become background. Timnah is preserved only because genealogy required her name, but not because the archive cared about her interior life. And that is why we are here. Amalek, the antagonist, is born. From Timnah comes Amalek. That is the sentence that will echo for centuries. Genesis does not give us his childhood. Genesis does not give us his voice. Genesis does not give us his motives. It simply tells us he was born. And then the story moves forward. The next time we hear the name Amalek, it is no longer a man, it is a people. Exodus 17. Then Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. That's it. No motive, no explanation, no dialogue, just conflict. And this is important. Exodus does not say why. It does not say who struck first. It does not give us context. It simply records that Amalek fought. Later in Deuteronomy 25, the memory becomes sharper. It says Amalek attacked the strangers, the weak, the weary, those at the rear. The story develops teeth and then becomes something even heavier. Deuteronomy 25:19. You shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under the sky. You shall not forget. Blot out the memory. Not defeat, not punish, erase. And centuries later, in 1 Samuel 15, that command turns into action. Saul is told to strike Amalek. Men, women, children, livestock. Total destruction. And Amalek becomes more than a tribe. Amalek becomes a symbol. In Jewish tradition, Amalek becomes the archetype of cosmic opposition. In Christian teaching, Amalek becomes the flesh, the enemy within, the spirit of rebellion. Amalek becomes mythic antagonist. And remember, the antagonist in one sacred story is the baby in a mother's arms in another. From Timnah's body comes the name that will be remembered as enemy for generations. Not because we know his heart, not because we know his childhood, not because we heard his voice, but because the story needed an adversary. Amalek. And once a people become adversary in sacred memory, everything about them hardens. And the mother who bore him, she is reduced to a footnote. Amalek then and now. Before we leave Amalek in the ancient text, we need to say something clearly. There are people today who claim that Palestine are Amalek. They argue that because of a divine covenant between Yahweh and Israel, the land rightfully belongs to Israel. They connect ancient covenant language to modern places like Gaza and Palestine. When someone labels a modern population Amalek, they are pulling the weight of 1 Samuel 15 into the present. That chapter contains annihilation language. That is not a small move. That is ancient war language placed on living people. And this is also why I wrote my song, No Kings, No Gods. It's a protest song. It's against Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Yahweh when invoked as political authority. It is pro-Palestine, pro-Amalek. Because before Amalek was a symbol, he was a child. Before Amalek was a theological enemy, he had a mother. When sacred stories are fused to modern nationalism, when covenant language becomes land entitlement, when ancient enemies are mapped onto modern people, hierarchy becomes holy. And when hierarchy becomes holy, violence can start to look righteous. That is why this story still matters. My midrash. When I'm writing about these women in the Bible, I want to give them a voice. I want to channel them. Thanks for coming up, Jason. Not in some spiritual woo-woo way. I don't believe in that. But I do believe I have empathy. I believe I can read silence. I believe I can feel pressure in a story. Somewhere along the way, I realized that in writing these sermons, I've pretty much become a biblical critic, a Bible critic. I am critiquing these stories. I am taking a different look at them. They've been looked at by men for so long, and I'm not saying women haven't examined them, but I don't know anyone doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing it. So I call it my midrash. Midrash is a Jewish tradition of interpretation. It is the practice of reading the text closely, asking questions the text does not directly answer, filling narrative gaps, and drawing meaning from what is present and what is absent. Rabbis have done midrash for centuries. So if rabbis can have a midrash, so can I. This is not fantasy. This is not invention. This is interpretation. It is doing what men have done with these texts for generations. Only I'm doing it as a woman. So let's entertain something for a moment. Let's say the rabbis were right about one thing, that Timnah wanted to belong, that she saw the Israelites and thought, I want to be a part of that family. I want covenant. I want community. I want future. And they rejected her. And the closest they let her get was being a concubine to an Edomite, to a people they already despised. That should have been her first clue. And then she has a child. And here is where theology gets very quiet, but motherhood gets very loud. Because what if she loved that child? What if she held that baby against her chest and sang to him in the dark? What if she smelled the top of his head? That sweet newborn smell. And rubbed her chin against his soft hair while he nursed? What if his tiny fingers wrapped around hers, like she was his whole world? Before Amalek was an enemy, he was a baby in his mother's arms. So what does she teach him? What does she tell him about her people, about his people? What does she tell him about his cousins, the ones who want nothing to do with him? The ones whose story begins with his grandfather being hated before he was even born? What does she tell him about that? What does she tell him about Jacob and Esau burying their father together? Does she believe the fracture is healing? Does she dare to hope that maybe, just maybe, the division is closing? What does it do to a woman to want belonging and be denied it? What does it do to a mother to know her child is born already ranked, born already placed, born already categorized, born already outside? What would she tell him? What if she told him, the only way to get back what was stolen from you is to take it back? Not because she was evil, but because she was resilient. Because she had fortitude. Because she understood how hierarchy works. What if she told him, you do not bow to a system that denies your dignity? What if she told him his inheritance was stolen too? The minute his grandfather's was stolen, everything was withheld. Her future, his future, the future of her generations. Why do these men only think their lineage matters? Why do they think like only their hopes and dreams for their grandchildren matter? Do the hopes and dreams of these women never matter? She had dreams for Amalek too. Dreams of safety, dreams of honor, dreams of legacy, dreams of dignity. So what did she tell him? Maybe she was the sweetest, most devoted mother in the world. Maybe she was obedient. Maybe she was loving. Maybe she was submissive, just like Christians say women should be. Maybe she did everything right. And he still grew up inside a hierarchy that had already named him. Because systems shape people. Because fractures embed themselves into bloodlines. Because when a child grows up watching power distributed unevenly, it does something to him. It does something to her. And that is where we need to talk about Queen Nandi and Shaka Zulu. Nandi and Shaka, a mother inside hierarchy. If we're going to humanize Timna, then we need to slow down and tell the story of another mother whose son would one day be called powerful, dangerous, brilliant, ruthless, depending on who's telling the story. Queen Nandi Ka Behebe. Nandi was born into the Ngani people in the late 1700s in what is now KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. I'm doing the best I can with these. Okay, so please forgive me if I mispronounce any of these names. She was not born powerless. She came from lineage. She had identity. She had kin. But when she became pregnant by Senzanga Kohona, a Zulu chief, everything changed. The pregnancy was disputed. Some traditions say Senzanga Kohona tried to minimize it, calling it an illness. Others say political tensions made her inconvenient. What remains consistent across oral history is this. She was not embraced as a fully honored wife. She was mocked. She was shamed. The child was labeled illegitimate. Imagine that. Carrying the child of a chief, and instead of elevation, you receive humiliation. Instead of security, instability. Instead of honor, whispers. That child was Shaka. Shaka was not raised inside unquestioned legitimacy. He and Nandi endured exile. They moved between clans. They relied on maternal relatives. They lived with uncertainty. And humiliation leaves an imprint. Shaka grew up watching how his mother was treated. He watched how status worked. He watched how power clustered around recognized wives and sanctioned heirs. He saw that blood alone did not guarantee belonging. He saw hierarchy in motion. Zulu oral tradition remembers that Nandi was fiercely protective. She did not collapse. She did not disappear. She endured. Some accounts described her shielding Shaka from ridicule. Some describe her strengthening him around adversity. Some portray her as emotionally formidable, not passive, not erased. Shaka later referred to his mother as his refuge. Think about that. In a world that mocked him, she was stability. In a world that ranked him, she told him who he was. Years later, when Shaka rose to power after Senga, I cannot remember how to say his name, sorry, and I usually have phonetic spellings for me, but I do not here. The previous king's death, he did not rise gently. He reorganized the Zulu military structure. He introduced age-based regiments. He altered weapon design. He emphasized discipline and cohesion. He centralized authority in ways that reshaped regional power. Some historians describe him as a military innovator of extraordinary intelligence. Some colonial accounts painted him as monstrous, exaggerating brutality to justify later European expansion and intervention. But strip away the myth-making, and what remains is this: he was forged in hierarchy. And when Nandi died in 1827, Shaka declared national mourning. Cattle was slaughtered. Fields went untilled. Grief became public. He elevated her to Queen Mother. Her suffering became part of the origin story of a nation. Her motherhood became foundational memory. Now sit with that. A woman who is not fully honored by the man who fathered her child, a son born into contested legitimacy, a rank system that shaped his identity, a military leader forged from exclusion. Now return to Timnah. Timnah becomes concubine to Eliphaz, son of Esau, not a primary wife, not a covenant matriarch, not central, a concubine. Her son Amalek grows up in a family where blessing was unevenly distributed before he was born. Where his grandfather was told he would serve, where nations emerge from favoritism, he too grows into a military leader. But in Israel's sacred text, he is the antagonist. Shaka is remembered as founder, Amalek is remembered as enemy, but both began the same way, as sons of women navigating hierarchy, as babies in arms that were not fully honored, as children watching power move unevenly. Nandi was not evil. Timnah was not evil. Both were women whose futures had been withheld. Timnah, withheld. Her name was not random. It means restrained. It means held back. It means prevented. It means denied. And when you trace her story, the word fits like skin. She was withheld from full belonging, withheld from primary status, withheld from narrative voice, withheld from matriarchal honor. Her son inherited that withholding, and when withholding hardens into hierarchy, hierarchy hardens into identity. The identity hardens into conflict. We like to talk about Amalek as if he emerged fully formed, a villain, a threat, a symbol. But no one is born a symbol. They are born into systems. They are born into stories that rank them before they spoke. Timnah lived at the hinge, after reconciliation, before nationalism, after brothers embraced, before nations codified. And she gave birth inside that moment. What was withheld from her did not disappear. It became history. So when we read these genealogies, when we read these wars, when we read these commands to wipe out people, we should ask, who was withheld? Who was denied? Who was ranked before they were known? Timnah was not just the mother of an enemy. She was a woman whose future was withheld. And when a future is withheld long enough, it does not evaporate. It reshapes us all. I don't think I ever knew who Timnah was before I wrote this sermon. She was just a name in a list, just a concubine, just a mother of Amalek. I don't even know if I knew that. But since deconstructing, I have started to know something. Christianity withheld so much from me as a woman. It withheld my autonomy. It withheld my leadership. It withheld my voice. It withheld my stories. It withheld my sexuality. It withheld my hopes. It withheld my dreams. It withheld my truth. It withheld my desire to learn. It withheld my desire to trust myself. Lean not unto your own understanding. It withheld my right to interpret. It withheld my right to question. The list is endless. Timna. Withheld. It is such a beautifully powerful word to describe how deconstruction feels. Because when you start pulling at the threads, you realize how much was kept from you. How much was denied. How much was restrained. How much was never allowed to move forward. And when you finally ask yourself, what was withheld from me? That is the beginning of taking it back. And that's today's Auntie Sermon. I have to take a drink. I'm a little parched. Good morning, Godwin. You guys, thank you so much for the 20,000 likes. I know I probably lost a few viewers during my Auntie sermon, but for the rest of you who stuck with me, I appreciate it. I thought it was very interesting. I enjoy learning about each of these women, and I don't think I ever knew that Amalek's mother was a woman named Timnah. If you are a believer of the God of the Bible and you want to come up and talk today, we have 3 topics today. I noticed that Christians do not have the power of the Holy Spirit. Like, they don't have patience at all because, I know that was a little off the head away, but I have literally, if I wanted to talk to somebody, I've waited at least an hour or so to talk to somebody. If I really want to talk to them, I stay in that box. They will not stay in that box. If you are not going to bring them up right away, they're going to go try to find another live so they can spew their nonsense somewhere. That's my thing. Hello. I see you all over there on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm up over on the Deconstruction Junction this morning. Let me check over there. Like to say hi everywhere. I am up over there. Good to see you guys. Oh, I look at the phonetics on how to say the name. So, Eliphaz is what they told me. I don't know. When Bert is up here, he corrects me every time. So I just don't ever trust me on the pronunciation of a name because I'm probably wrong. I do my best, though. I really do. So we have 3 topics today. Christians don't believe in miracles. Why should women be Christian? And I'm an atheist, Q for Q. No, Eliphaz is the son of Esau. And Timnah is the concubine to Eliphaz. I have to picture the phonetic spelling just to say his name. And yeah, so that's who Eliphaz is the son of Esau. No, it doesn't roll off the tongue. Maybe I'm putting the syllable on the wrong, the emphasis on the wrong syllable. I don't know. That could be what I'm doing. I'm horrible. I need to take a class in Hebrew so I can learn how to enunciate these words. I wanted to say pronounce and enunciate. Oh, I was going to tell a funny story, you guys. I keep forgetting to tell you guys this story. I think you all love when I tell you my cringy Christian stories. So I'm going to tell you one that I thought of the other day. My daughter called me And she said, oh my goodness, Mom, I just got home and I'm like really still shaken up about what just happened. And I said, what, what's going on? What happened? She said, well, I was in the highway and there was these two cars. And I don't know if she said they were racing behind her or what they were doing, but they collided directly behind her. She said, I felt them hit my car and like push my car forward and everything, but they both took off and I didn't know what to do. So I pulled off the freeway and I called my husband and I looked at my car and I wasn't hit at all, but I felt it, and everything. And so we were talking for a minute and I said, I wonder if, like, I don't know if I can explain this well, but like if due to the force of the two cars colliding directly behind you, if that would create some kind of air or something that could push your car and make you feel as though it had impacted you, even though it had not. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking with physics and air and speed, like that could like possibly. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Anyway, we looked that up and yeah, that is a thing. It's so much a thing that it can actually cause damage to your car. And you could never have been touched by either vehicle. But what I really thought was, oh my God, if I had been a Christian and she told me this story, I would have said, oh honey, you probably were hit in that accident. Or angels protected you or something else. I just realized that my response to her would have been so much different when I was a Christian compared to the way, checkmate atheists. Exactly. I would have just been like, oh my God, it's proof that Jesus loves you and it's a miracle and you're blessed and highly favored. Hey Tamar, how are you? Good to see you. So yeah, I thought it is really a different world I live in now because I know I would have attributed that to God. When literally it's just science. It's just science. I feel like, I could play a song for y'all if you want. You guys, if you were supposed to send me a video for the Cuntified music video and you haven't done it yet, shame on you. Shame on you and your horse, okay? Because that was supposed to be sent to me by Saturday. But good news is I'm a procrastinator and haven't really started any of it yet. So there's still time to send me those music video clips. I do have it, granted. I haven't done any work on anything yet. But I did download the clip today to prepare for this. I want to make sure everybody knows when I do music videos and stuff like that, I add filters, I zoom in and out, I do things. So I hope you realize your clips are going to be a part of like you might have filters and stuff. You don't know what I'm going to do to your clip. I'm just saying, like, you don't know. It might be really cool. I'm looking forward to working on it. But if you guys still have clips that you need to send, go ahead and send those over to me. I haven't started yet. I'm such a procrastinator. And I haven't even shot any of my clips yet. So I haven't even done that. I don't know why my camera focus is going in and out. I'm sorry, you guys. It doesn't know what to do with me right now. Sanctified while we're sitting around right now. But if you are a believer of the God or the God, if you're a believer, come on up. I've got 3 questions for you. If you're a non-believer, you want to hang out today, you got a question, you have something you want to say, you want to fight me on my Auntie Sermons and tell me that I'm, full of shit or something, come on up. Guest box is open. Love to hear from you. And here you go. This is Cuntified.
Hey ladies, What's on the menu tonight? I want to dismantle the patriarchy, and I'm feeling cuntified. Line up the shots, spark up a blunt. Every lady here is serving cunt. Not an ounce of testosterone inside. Got full confidence in my stride. No consent for the noise you make. No consideration left to take. You had the mic for centuries. Now watch us cunts practice mutiny. We're serving cunt. It's the damn dress code. We're serving cunt. It's our man at Bristol. Serving cunt. Booming cuntified. Men are pause while we take the mic. We're serving cunt. It's the damn dress code. We're serving cunt. It's our manifesto. Serving cunt. Booming cuntified. Men are pause while we take the mic. No heads bowed, all eyes up front. Every lady here is serving cunt. We playing ooh, no, reverse and flipping the script. Taking back control like an icon. I'm bitch. No consent for the noise you bring. No consideration for fragile kings. You had the power, had everything. Now mama says it's time to cut the string. We're serving cunt. It's the damn dress code. We're serving cunt. It's our manifesto. We're serving cunt. Booming cuntified. Men on pause while we take the mic. We're serving cunt. It's the damn dress code. We're serving cunt. It's our manifesto. We're serving cunt. Booming cuntified. Men on pause while we take the mic. Confidence high, no safety net. You look confused, you won't forget. We won't tolerate your disrespect. You're about to concede, little man, bet. You talk loud, but you saying less. We speak once with confidence. Now step aside and let a cunt speak. Your contractors know you reached your peak. I still warn, we ain't done yet. Let the silence sit, yeah, you felt that hit. This ain't rage, this ain't regret. This is convocation at its best. We're serving cunt. It's the damn dress code. Serving cunt. It's our manifesto. Serving cunt. Moving cuntified. Men on pause while we take the mic. We're serving cunt. It's the damn dress code. Serving cunt. It's our manifesto. Serving cunt. Moving cuntified. Men on pause while we take the mic. We're serving cunt. We're serving cunt. We're serving cunt. Overlapping borders. We're serving cunt. We're serving cunt. We're serving cunt.
Hey, Grana.
Hey, oh my gosh, wait till you see my video. I didn't have a videographer, so it was really hard to do. And my first time through would have been like perfect. And the video like just didn't work. So I was like, oh no. So I did it like 3 times. And by the end, I look like hell. Like as I'm trying to do it, I just look awful. But
What
I
I did see looked really fun. It looks really
yeah, it was
fun.
really fun, but it was just funny because I had paint and water and everything going. So
It looked really
Hey,
fun.
Grandazana.
I'm really excited.
hey, how are you?
Good.
What have you been up to, Godwin?
Hey, Crystal.
Hey,
I'm just
Godwin.
working, so enjoying
Just working?
the music. Hey, what's going on, Crystal? Good tunes.
You're doing well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I saw you didn't make it to Zena Mae's, what she call it, speakeasy last night.
I dropped in and out. I was
Poor
listening
connection.
to
I
some
may
of
have
the...
to drop.
It
Okay,
was,
Godwin, come back up if you
Oh,
get a
sorry.
better connection.
It was, I mean, like a life-changing almost experience. There was art and poetry and songs and like everything. It was so
It was really
amazing.
good every time I jumped in. I was just very busy working last night, so
I bet you have a lot going on.
I do have a lot going on. You know, I am trying to get organized so that I have a better workflow, but I'm really bad about making regular content. Like I'm really bad about putting little video clips out and stuff like that. I suck at that. And I kind of need to do that in order to, build up my following and stuff like that. But I'm really bad at that. I'm good at the stuff where I go live or I write or I, do the songs and stuff like that. That I'm good at. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Godwin. Oh, you can go ahead and drop. It's okay. I don't know that it affects my algorithm sucks no matter what I do, so I don't care. Yeah, so then I have to there's recording the podcast, which I have to have absolute silence, and Doug was home yesterday and he's home today, so I won't be able to record that. So I'll probably have to record tomorrow. And that puts me behind because I have to have absolute silence when I'm recording that. Then there's editing the podcast. Then there's uploading the podcast. Then there's, writing the sermons so that when I need something to record, I already have them, or whatever. And I usually perform those live first so I can work out any kinks before I do them on the podcast.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah.
And then there's your videos you're doing and your songs you're doing.
Yeah. And then also I am the, admin of the Deconstruction Junction. And over there, we're doing a really fun, little belated Valentine's singles mingle event. We're doing a live game show on the Deconstruction this Friday night. So if you're part of the Deconstruction Junction and you're single and you want to mingle, it's really fun. It's very inclusive. So all genders, all preferences, everybody is welcome. It is also something that you don't have to come up on stage in order to participate, because we're going to have audience participation. And then at the end, it is a mutual consent type match. If you are interested in somebody, you will have a mod that you will send your information to. If that same person is interested in you, we will notify both of you. That way there's no public embarrassment, shame, or anything like that. And both people are consenting to getting to know each other. So I think it's really going to be a good event if people join it. We need
what time?
Some brave souls. It is, I don't know. You have to check Deconstruction Junction Discord. I don't remember.
Okay, I can do that.
I don't remember. Let me look. I actually could do it right now. I forget I have my iPad right here. Let me look. Let me look for y'all.
I'm torturing my dog. She's barking, so I'm petting her, and she's like, no.
Aw.
She's so funny.
Where are the... Okay. So it is February 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
8. Okay.
Yeah. And so just as long as you are 18 or over and anybody's invited, we do ask that before that, if you can, there's these little cards that you fill out with your information. So that way you all can kind of, get to know each other ahead of time, like who's interested, or whatever. And they're pretty cool. They're little info cards. You can put a picture if you want. If not, you could just put like something, like your logo or your your little PFP, whatever you want to add. But this way people know your age and what you're interested in, so they could see if that's something they're interested in too.
Yeah, it's funny because I like you put age on there, because even though I go by Grana, people still think I'm under 50. I'm like, I'm 56. You're like, I don't want to date a 25-year-old. Nothing against 25-year-olds. It's just they're a couple decades behind me,
Well, yeah. People think I'm a lot younger too, and I think they're lying to me and being nice, because what the hell? Like, I think I totally look my age. I do think though that TikTok does something to make it so you can't see all my wrinkles. It's like there's a bit of a filter going on, and I don't put it on. I'm not adding it.
Right.
I literally have made it so there's no filters on me. So I don't know what's going on with that.
I was shocked when I heard how old you were. I was like, I thought she was in her 40s. Like, oh my gosh.
Hi, Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 32.
All right. And are you a believer of the God of the Bible?
I am, yes.
All right. So I have 3 topics today. Christians don't believe in miracles. Why should women be Christians? Or I'm an atheist. Let's go question for question. And that's where we won't really debate. You can ask me a question. I will answer it honestly. And then I'll ask you a question and you can answer it honestly. We won't interrupt each other, and we'll just ask each other questions to learn a little bit about each other.
Sure, sounds good to me. I think I was actually on your live before earlier. a while ago, months ago probably, but I requested to join because that first question is interesting to me, that Christians don't believe in miracles. So what's your premise on that?
Okay, here's my premise on that. Every time I talk to Christians about miracles, they tell me stories about things that are very common in life, and then they attribute it to the God. Like, my mother spontaneously recovered from cancer. We know that happens. Scientifically, spontaneous recovery is a thing. But when I ask them if they can pray for kids to heal from cancer, or if they'll pray for me and pray for my immediate healing from arthritis or other ailments that I have, they'll tell me God doesn't work that way. They'll make excuses for why God cannot do things like that, and why God has never helped anybody grow a limb back. They'll make excuses for. And to me, those things are miracles. People healing from cancer happens every day, and it happens due to medicine. It happens due to technology. It happens due to advancements in pharmaceuticals. Telling me something that humans can do is not telling me anything miraculous.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from on that. And I would say, I mean, I would be more than happy to pray for you or pray for someone to grow a limb back, whatever it may be. My view is that God could do it, but if he doesn't do it, then it's not the Lord's will. Now I get where
You
that could
guys
be.
always have an escape. That's like a loophole. God, so
Right.
how come none of you ever grew a limb back? Not one, ever.
Right. And I mean, I could see where, certainly, I always try to approach these conversations taking off my lenses of a believer and from your perspective, how that would appear. And I fully acknowledge
And I
that
appreciate that. I really do, Gunny. I really
Right.
appreciate that, because I think a lot of times people still try to look at it from their viewpoint, like they are a believer, and we can't look at each other's viewpoints if we don't look at it, try to sit in each other's,
Right.
Viewpoints.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of times these conversations get out of hand and heated and stuff, is when we refuse to do that and then we take it as a personal attack. Because I've wrestled with the faith question myself. I fully understand why people would have these kinds of questions and doubts. And I don't think it's things that we should shun or whatever. I think it's ultimately best for the person's faith if we reason through these kinds of things together rather than, shoving them off to the side or whatever. But to that point, I certainly see where, because I mean, again, you look in the Bible, you see someone like Elijah confidently saying, "You do this, and I'm telling you right now, my God is going to make this happen," and then it happens. And we don't see Christians doing that today, or maybe some of them do. There's a huge in Africa, and I hope no Christian has tried to point you to these videos, but in Africa there's a bunch of these like fake faith healings where people grow like they have a short leg and it
Yes.
miraculously grows longer
Yes.
and stuff like that. It's a big racket in Africa that's unfortunately
is.
very common. Unfortunately, many people actually believe that it's real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just still have to stand on the fact that I believe it's possible for God to do those things, but for me personally, it's not my place to tell God what to do or how to work, and I have to ultimately trust and believe with
Isn't
my
it
faith.
our place? Why isn't it our place? If it is my God that I am supposed to worship, I want to hold him to a higher standard. How dare he come down here to this earth and say that I will do greater works than him and I can't even do anything he did? How dare he say to me that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, do you ever see, and by the way, it's not the world's smallest seed. They are so tiny, but they're not the smallest. They are very tiny. And if I have that much faith, I can say to a mountain, move, and it'll move.
Right.
10-year-old Crystal was really, really broken that she could not move a mountain. She knew she had that much faith. What are you talking about? I believe you can do anything. Why is the mountain not moving? And when this God says that all you have to do is ask anything in my name, I will do it so that the Father may be glorified through the Son. Why are those lies allowed to be still continue to this day. Your God cannot grow a limb back through you. We know this because you all have tried and it has never happened. How many millions of people have to do that and have it fail before you guys go, oh, wow, maybe God really can't do anything through us because he's not.
Right. So I would say to your first point of, why can't we hold God to a higher standard or whatever? There's actually a verse in the Bible, and I understand this may not carry the same weight to you as it would to me, but it says, the pot has no right to say to the potter, why did you make me this way? Why was I made without a handle, or whatever it may be? Or it's ultimately the potter's choice and decision to do with the clay whatever he wills. And that's kind of where...
Right, and that was from Paul, right? And to me, that's a cop-out. Paul does a lot of copying out because what did Jacob do? Jacob wrestled with God. That is why the whole entire group of people is called wrestles with God. He was not happy and Moses questioned God and David questioned God. All of these great, Xana, you got some background noise. I'm going to mute you up. Okay. All of these people wrestled with God. It is not until Christians come in do they go, oh, don't ask God any questions. Don't ever think for yourself. Mm-hmm. God said that searching for wisdom and knowledge, that is a great thing to do. And questioning God is where you get that.
And I fully support that notion. I believe it was actually Isaiah who originally mentioned the potter and the vessel. Paul may have reiterated it later on, but still, it's the point's the same. But no, I fully agree with. And again, you read the Old Testament, and you see like the entire book of Lamentations is about Jeremiah lamenting to God about what is to come and things like that. I think it's good and acceptable, and I think we have, out of fear, drifted away from questioning God and wrestling with some of his decisions and stuff like that. You see that actually a lot in the Psalms. Many of them will start out with, God, why have you done this to me? Why is this happening, or whatever? But then there's a transition at the midpoint of the Psalm, and then it ends with him praising the Lord, saying, thus, you will have your way, whatever it may be. I think we need to kind of understand that and embrace that, rather than, I think there's a modern evangelical movement to move.
Isaiah did say it too. I like to correct myself if I'm wrong about something. You're right. Isaiah says, I don't know why this is all paraphrased for me right now.
Yeah, that's right. And it might be reiterated by Paul later on, because Paul quotes the Old Testament quite a bit. And he says things very similar to that, if not, mentioning clay and potter, but regardless. But yeah, I think it ultimately falls back to, we just have to understand our role, which is hard for us to do. We want to come at religion with like, if I'm choosing you as my God, I want you to do X, Y, Z for me.
Screw that God. Look you made me. You knew I was going to be this way, and you made me this way anyway. And then you're going to burn me in hell for an eternity for being exactly who you made me to be? What kind of a fucked up system is that? Like, and you guys all sit back and go, yeah, you just gotta take it. You just gotta do it. You just gotta have faith, and you just gotta be obedient. What the hell? No. Like billions and billions of people for eternity are going to burn in hell forever because this God, who has the power to make himself known at any moment in time, has said, nah, I'm going to just play hide and seek with you all, and you're all just going to burn in hell. And I don't care.
Right. I fully understand that, because these are things I've wrestled with when I was questioning my faith. To me, they say the problem of evil is one of the harder things for Christians to answer. But for me personally, I actually wrestled more with what you kind of touched on, the divine hiddenness, that, God chooses to reveal himself to some and not to others. And you can't deny the fact that where you're born geographically plays a large role in what religion, if any, you will adopt in your life.
It's the number one.
Right.
It's the number one thing that factors into what religion you will be, is your geographical.
And that's not lost on me. I understand. I wrestle with that. But ultimately, I had to make a checklist in my own mind of kind of pros and cons, or things that in my mind, makes sense for the existence of God versus things that don't. And those are certainly things that I put in the
I
checkbox
had to do
of,
that too. And even when I do that, I go, all right, so what if there is a God? It is clearly not this God. It is so clear that this God is made up, because it is so clear that it is made up by men of that era. And we know that because everything that he talks about or does is stuff that men wanted to do during that time period. And as we progress as a people, those things became outdated, and we go, oh, well, yeah, because that's what it was like back then, and God was beholden to them. What are you talking about? He is God. So after you really go, considering all the contradictions, considering all the anachronisms, considering all of the things that prove that so much of this cannot be true. There was no global flood. There was no Exodus. Moses did not exist. He didn't write the Torah. We don't know who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Something like close to half of Paul's writings are pseudepigrapha. When we consider all these things, I have to go logically, using critical thinking. I have to go, okay, even if there is a God, it is clearly not this one.
right. And that's where usually when I have these conversations with people, I like to try to meet them where they're at in their journey. Like, rather than, if you would proclaim yourself to be an atheist, like you are willing to make a truth claim that there is no God, I would rather not jump straight to convincing you of Christianity. I think that's a pretty far jump. Or rather, if you are an atheist, I would rather reason through that and see if maybe you would change your position to agnostic, and willing to say, well, maybe there is a God.
You can be an agnostic atheist,
right? Yeah, you can be an agnostic theist as well, right? It's just it's more of a spectrum, your belief, really.
Okay. Right. Most atheists I know are agnostic. I am
Sure.
agnostic with an I. I don't know if you know what that means. Don't use all caps and do not spam my chat. That's the easiest way for you to be muted, and eventually you'll be removed. And you're not listening, so first you're going to get muted, okay? If you come back, you do it again, then you're going to be blocked. Just behave. We can all be good little boys and girls in the chat, okay? I'm sorry that I have a little bit of ADHD. I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, you're good. I understand. You got to monitor those things. But yeah, no, that's, so I mean, and again, I would rather push you from, say that you're even willing to call yourself an agnostic atheist. I would rather gear the conversation towards theism as opposed to convincing you of the God of the Bible. Because I think it's a journey of faith,
And I'm agnostic, so it's going to be very hard for anybody to convince me of theism. And here's why. I don't believe we can even define what a God is, let alone if there is one. And until we as humans who make up definitions for words on the daily can define what a God is and all agree, I don't believe there is one. No two people that I've met have the same definition for what a God is, let alone who God is. There are people who believe that God is literally everything, including dog shit on the bottom of your shoe. They believe that. They believe God is everything. There are other people who believe like God is an actual physical being floating around somewhere in the sky, like a form, an actual form. There are some who believe he is not. He's outside space, time, matter, and all kinds of things, which is kind of ridiculous because you can't create if you're outside of space and time. You cannot create within space and time if you are outside space and time, but that's a different story. But because
I'm kind of curious, because that's honestly the realm that I tend to operate in is, kind of that what I find most interesting and most palatable to, the philosophical belief or whatever is kind of that unknowable, unsearchable God. Let's not even put a definition on it, but let's say there's something out there that was the programmer of this universe, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of where I fall into, is that he exists outside of space and time, and our understanding of the observable universe, everything that we know to exist, is kind of a product of creation, and so you can't actually find the
So you
existence of
believe
God
that
within
there's
that.
something that made something from nothing. So you believe something came from nothing.
Yes.
Okay. It's the first time I've heard a believer admit that, because they always think we do, and I don't believe something came from nothing. But on top of it, the very minute you take nothing and you create something, a change has occurred. Correct?
Yeah.
What is time?
So time is sort of interwoven with all of those things. And you also have to forgive me, I'm not a
But what is it?
metaphysicist. Time, I would just say it's a
Time
measurement.
is a measurement of change.
Right.
If you take something and you make and you take nothing and you make something, time. It took time to
Yes.
do that.
And I'll
If
agree
there
that
was
that's
a
when time
before
came into
that thing
existence.
existed, that's not true. Because if there was a before that thing existed and then that thing existed, before is a measurement of time. Time cannot not exist. Nobody created time. The Bible never says God is outside of time. God never says he created time. That is something that you guys decided because you guys make him to be too big, too powerful, and it makes him illogical. He breaks all the laws of logic.
I'm sorry, what?
He breaks all the laws of logic, which makes him illogical, which makes him obviously fantasy and myth.
Well, it gets into a lot of like the physicists and stuff that were early developers in this thing, which a lot of the early developers were Christians or Catholics even. Like, the guy who came up with the Big Bang Theory was Catholic, and a lot of them were using science to explain their version or their understanding of what these things looked like biblically, of the creation of things. And that's where
I
it
don't know
comes
why
from.
people say that. You know how many people have jobs who are Christians and they don't bring their Christianity into their job. You guys always say that. I think that somebody could be a Christian and a scientist, and I don't think that when they're being a scientist, their Christianity all comes into it. Like, I know many Christian accountants, and I don't think any of them go in and start doing the math with some Christian influence over it. I think that there was a guy who was a Christian who was also a scientist, and was like, hey, I think this might be where the universe started with this expanse. And you guys go, oh, a Christian did that. So what? It's not his Christianness isn't what caused him to do that.
Right. Well, the point in bringing
just
that up
he was a scientist.
Yeah, the point in bringing that up is to show that faith and science are not two ends of a spectrum where it's either I believe in science or I believe in faith or whatever. They can coexist
No, of course
together.
not. Of course
Right.
not. I think that most of the world has some kind of faith, and we have scientists. So I think that, of course, that you can have faith and be a scientist. That's exactly what I think. But I don't think that they always overlap either. I don't think that. Do I think that they sometimes do? Absolutely. I think that there are people who cannot separate their religion from other things they do in their life. Absolutely. But I also think there are lots and lots of people out there every day living their life as Christian, Muslim, Hindu, or what have you. And they are out there doing jobs like being doctors, nurses, cosmologists, whatever, and their religion doesn't play a role in the work that they do throughout the day.
Right. And that's ultimately one of the things that was one of the largest things in my checklist of God existing or not existing for me, was that you look around the world, and like you said, the majority of the world does believe in some kind of God, especially when you factor in history, not just our current time of, 2026, but throughout history, it's overwhelmingly that cultures have believed in some sort of creator or something. And again, even if these doctrines don't line up or whatever,
Right.
to me, it just seems more likely from the belief of human history that that
Oh,
is the
I
more
don't think so. I
likely
think it's
outcome.
more likely that most of the world has been indoctrinated into some kind of religion since infancy, and that
Sure.
that is what our culture has done throughout time. And it started with wars, literally being killed if you didn't believe a certain way. So people were
Yep.
forced to believe a certain way. And that's where we're headed again right now, because people are so they're so indoctrinated that they cannot for one moment think critically. So I don't think that the fact that because most of us have believed it throughout history proves anything other than we are stupid and easily indoctrinated. We allow leaders to lead us right off cliffs constantly. We're doing it right now in America. We are allowing a leader take us right off a cliff, and we're doing nothing about it. And we continue to do that throughout history. It has been the demise of civilizations throughout history.
Right, but you also have to understand those wars that were fought, which I'll grant you, there were many religious wars fought. They were between Christians and Muslims, or even Catholics and Protestants, or it was almost always two sides of belief
Right.
warring against each. It was never like atheists versus believers, and the believers just so happened to win and choke out the atheists for that generation. It was generationally we are ingrained with some kind of belief in a higher power, whether we acknowledge it or
Right,
not. And really,
because
the atheistic thought is kind of a more modern production within the last,
because
say,
we've
100
gotten
years or so.
smarter. Because we've gotten smarter throughout time, and we've started to go, wait a minute. Every time we have a question about something and we dig deep enough, the answer is always a natural answer. We have never gone, oh my God, you guys, that is how the moon was made. It was a miracle. We figured it all out, and this is exactly what happens. No, every single time we dig hard enough, there is a natural answer to why something happens.
Right, but the like saying that there's a natural answer, that kind of gets back to the thing between faith and science. It's not, nature is God's thumbprint. It's not like there has to be a
No,
supernatural
it's not.
sign for
That's
it to
just
be
a
proof of
claim.
God.
That's just a claim. You're just saying stuff. That's what I'm talking about. You are just filling gaps with this God. And now that some of us go, hey, I don't have to fill that gap with that God anymore. I realize that every question I have actually has very natural, normal answers. And you are sitting here going, yeah, but because the majority of people have still believed in a God, like that's kind of proof that it's probably that there is a God. No, that's not proof. It's proof that indoctrination works. When we indoctrinate children, it works. They will believe in whatever fairy tale they are indoctrinated into. And
So do
we've
you
done
think
it
all of these cultures
throughout
practice
centuries.
do you think all of these cultures practice like strict indoctrination from the time of birth? From I'm talking like even Native Americans that believed in like the creator who they thanked for the hunt or whatever it may. Do you think all of these things
Yes,
had to be
people
instilled in
indoctrinate
these
their
children?
children. Yes, children are born atheist.
See, I mean that's the problem. So if we were born atheist, we would have continued in atheism.
No, we wouldn't have, because when we were young tribes out there, we did not know where things came from, how it happened. And we attributed those things to magic that we eventually called gods. Those gods have different powers, different meaning, different everything. Again, this is why I'm an atheist, okay? Some gods were human. That doesn't make sense to me, but you can go figure that out. Some gods were immortal. Some gods have magic power. Some gods this, some gods that. Yahweh came along, and the Israelites were a very small tribe. They were not a very powerful people, and they were polytheistic before the Yahweh's cult came along. And when they came along, that's when they decided to be, I think it's called hedonistic, where
Henotheism.
you believe in many gods, henotheistic. Okay. You believe in many gods, but you end up worshiping one God. And that's when they decided to worship Yahweh. And Yes, I believe that we were born atheists, but when we didn't have answers, we filled the gaps with gods and magic. That's what we did as a people. The more we learned about science, the more we stopped attributing things to God. We did. There are so many Christians now who believe in evolution, but they didn't before. They believed in the creation story. They believed with all their heart the creation story. And there are many Christians who still believe in the creation story in the Bible. But it was indoctrination. It first started with believe by the sword. We are going to kill you. We are going to burn you. You will be put to death if you don't think like us, if you don't believe like us. And many religions went to war against each other because it was also political. And we indoctrinate our children. We indoctrinate our children to believe. What is the number one factor on whether a boy is circumcised or not? Gunny, do you know what the number one factor is on a decision on whether a child is circumcised or not in the whole world?
I would say for the most part, Judaism.
No, it's whether the father is circumcised or not, regardless of his religious belief or not. If the father is circumcised, a boy will most likely be circumcised. If the father is not circumcised, the boy most likely will not be circumcised. That is indoctrination right there. You're going to do what your parents do. That is
Right.
what we teach. So yes, indoctrination is the number one reason there are still religious cults all over the world today, including Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
So I'm just kind of curious, when you say that children are born atheists until they're indoctrinated, do you think that means, again, provided they're in a bubble with no outside influence or whatever, that when they grow up, they would have some sort of thought that there is a explanation for everything apart from God, and they wouldn't have any sort of belief in God whatsoever?
I don't think that people live in a vacuum or a bubble. And so I couldn't imagine for 1 minute a person growing up in a vacuum or a bubble and not being influenced by anything. I don't think like that. I don't believe that's a real life thing that could happen. I think that you are going to be influenced by your parents. You are. No matter what. And if they teach you science and they teach you things like that, that's what you're going to learn. That's what you're going to think about. If they teach you Christian indoctrination, that's what you're going to do. My children grew up, I indoctrinated all three of my children. But I was already in this way deconstructing that I didn't realize, because I allowed them to be much freer in their thoughts than I was when I was brought up. They all three were devout Christians. My son deconstructed first, and he came to me and told me when he went off to college. But when he did, that's when a part of my deconstruction started. And then I went to my daughters and told them that I deconstructed. And now they've deconstructed as well. But they believed what I believed, because I taught them what I believed, because my mother had taught me what she believed, because her mother had taught her what she believed. And that goes on for generations after generations in America, all the way back to when we were in Europe.
So do you think that's the sole reason that Christianity or any religion has survived, is because of indoctrination?
That is the main reason.
Because I would say most people end up, when they grow up, they differ from what their parents believe to some extent, whether it be politically or religiously or philosophically, whatever it may be. I don't share the same political
we are not
views.
our parents, right?
Right.
We have different
And so
brains.
I don't
We have
share the
different
same
life
political
experiences.
views as my parents. And I also ended up changing religion. I converted from Protestantism to Catholicism, separate from my parents. And so
I'm
throughout
sorry.
history, people are willing to go... What was that?
I said, I'm sorry.
No, it was
I would
one of the
not
best
change to
decisions I've ever made.
Catholicism.
But
Oh, that's such a pedophile ring. Oh, I couldn't do it, man. Knowing how many people that they molest and cover up for and pay out, and how they even take money from things that are supposed to be donated to charity, and take that money and pay off lawsuits for what they have done. It is disgusting. I could never do that.
Right, and I'll admit, and as the church will admit, that it's done some gross things throughout the years, some detestable things, but it's the same, in the
Yeah,
Old
they don't admit
Testament
it
where
enough.
Israel, respectfully, I'll let you talk and I'll let you have the floor, so just let me finish here. In the Old Testament, you see it's a recorded history of Israel falling short, and yet they were still God's people. And it's the same
Not
with the church,
pedophiles,
that in
though.
the leadership position, there are people who do detestable things, but that doesn't make the church as a whole the wrong direction.
It's systematically happening within the church than it is the church as a whole. They also hoard wealth. It is not a good
And
institution.
again, it's
The
riddled
institution
throughout
has shown that it is
politicians
not
as well. You
trustworthy.
see presidents all over the Epstein
Oh,
files and stuff,
absolutely.
and
You're
yet we
not
don't denounce our
gonna,
U.S.
yeah.
citizenship over those things.
Oh, I would in a heartbeat if I could go live somewhere else. Please don't. You have no idea. Our American government is despicable, and I speak out against it every day. And our politicians are bought and paid for. I speak out against that every day. So yes,
Right, but my
yes,
point
I
is there's
would.
no other country you could go to. Canada's on it, Mexico on it. I mean, over in the Middle East, someone over there gave Epstein a piece of the kebab to
No,
use as a
not
rug on his
every
island.
government is on Epstein's list. No, they're not. That's just a claim you're making. That's not true. There are many, many governments that don't have anybody on that list. That's just not true. You haven't read the files, so don't make bold claims that you can't back up. Let's not do
Are
that.
talking like first world
But
countries
it
that
has
don't
been
own
lovely, Gunny, talking to you. I do have somebody else waiting. Is there anything else you wanted to? Oh, maybe he's not there anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and move on for today. It's been really nice talking to you. Is there anything else you wanted to say before you leave today?
No, that should be it. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, it is my show today. Thank you, Archie. Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, everybody on YouTube. I just kind of needed to move on because if we're going to start everybody on the Epstein list, I can't do that. No, no, no. 38,000 times. Don't everybody is on the Epstein list, me, okay? Our president is a piece of shit, okay? And he's on the Epstein list 38,000 times. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much. If you're friendly and you want to come up and hang out, guest box is open for friendlies too. I usually like to have one or two people up here to hang out with me, so I have somebody to talk to in between guests, so please feel free to request up. I always hate dead air. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, what can I do? Should I read Discord? Is there Discord drama? Should I read Discord drama? I have not. Okay, listen. You guys, I like going to estate sales, and I used to, okay, I will play a song in a minute. You tell me what song to play. I used to be a reseller, so I would go to estate sales. I would buy all the clothes at the end of the estate sale, so y'all got to pick through them first. Don't get mad at me. And then I would sell the clothes online and stuff, but I also like to, before that, used to sell vintage things and stuff like that. And so I still like to go to estate sales. I've been recently. Let's see. What is something I bought recently? Oh, some jewelry. I bought jewelry. I'll show you in a minute some of the jewelry I bought. Oh, let me just show you. I'll just grab it. I think it's right here. I think it's right here. By the way, I love costume jewelry and I hardly ever wear it because I think I'm ADHD and I actually don't like the way jewelry feels when it's on. But I have a ton of costume jewelry because I really like it, but I just don't wear it. Anyway, look how cute this little pin is. Isn't that cute? So I go to estate sales, and I don't know why, but I thought this little Buddha pendant was cute. And then I like vintage, like clip-on and screw-back earrings. I know they're kind of granny-ish, but I don't know. They're kind of cute, right? And then I got this extra long necklace because because I thought maybe sometimes I could wear a necklace when I'm live. Sometimes I do it. I don't know. And I don't even have anywhere to wear this. Okay, nowhere. Like, I'm never going to go somewhere where I need this. Never. It's never going to happen. But I also buy books and things like that. Anyway, so I was telling my friends at this estate sale, there is a Mary. Like, you know, those little statues that people put in the bathtubs? And I want to go get it. And I don't know why. And I don't know what I'm going to do with her. But for some reason, I want that little statue, that little Mary statue. I don't know what I'm going to do with her, though. But like, I feel like I need her, right? Like, I don't know. All right, let's hear Block Me.
Block, blockity, block, 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 bitch, I ain't gonna stop, so go ahead and block.
I don't think it's actually Jade Robin.
If this makes you uncomfortable.
Because it's actually missing a little
hit the block. You know you should.
Maybe it'll be better quality.
Did I make you mad? Did I piss you off? Don't like the way I mock and scoff. You mock a pro-ice, anti-LGBT, Nazi adjacent, transphobe energy, misogyny baked in your theology, supremacy culture wrapped up as morality. Cause you don't wait, don't debate, hit that block now, bitch. Don't hesitate, don't stall, don't fake. I didn't come to play, ain't got time to fuck with you today. Listen, motherfucker, if you won't engage, if you won't look twice at the words I say, then hit that block, do it clean, do it quick, no comments, no sermons, no last minute tricks. You think I need your God to be whole and pure? I'm atheist, feminist, solid and sure. I ain't into the grift, it's all a facade, it's a patriarchal system, so does God. Block me, bitch, don't hesitate, I see you flinch. Block me now, ain't no sweat off my brow. Hit that block, don't stick round. Block me now. Block me now. Yeah, pro-ice, pro-Trump, red head on display, same playbook as the KKK. You cheer for Katie's, call it law. Where the fuck is the line drawn? If you rather fund wars than feed the kids, if you voted for a 34-time convicted felon, if you couldn't vote for a woman to save your life, hit block now, bitch. Exit right. Oh fuck, I said a naughty word. I see you strangling on your pearls. This song's vulgar, yeah, so is hate, so is power harder behind church and state. Supremacy ain't culture, it's rot. Silence ain't peace, it's but. You capitalism feeds bombs, not bread, and you call that values? Nah, block me instead. Block me, bitch. Don't hesitate, I see you flinch. Block me now. Ain't no sweat off my brow. With that block, don't stick. Block me now. Block me now. You gon' better ahead and block me now. I'm not shrinking. I'm loud as fuck. I'm still here, bitch. So now what? This ain't politics, this is belief. If my morals hit nerves, find your relief. No essays, no cries, no back and forth. Hit block. Hope your access to door. Block me, bitch. Don't hesitate. I see you flinch. Block me now. Ain't no sweat off my fucking brow.
I just got a violation for misinformation. I think they didn't like what I said about the 38,000 times in the file. Somebody didn't like that I pointed that out. Somebody didn't like that I said, no, it's not all governments. It's funny how they always violate the person who's actually telling the truth. Yeah, I can. Thank you. I love that song. I love You Saw It. Let's listen to You Saw It.
Men didn't have the nerve to name you, not with truth, not with blood on their hands. They spoke around you, over you, safe behind their power and plans. They praised what you did for them. They trembled as you gave your name. They wouldn't dare think to name you. No, that would be my claim to fame. I didn't bow when you found me alone. No one else to hear what I'd say. You didn't offer a name for me to whisper, so I named you from my view of you that day. You didn't offer me a covenant, no altar, no future, no claim. What I had was a body for trading, and the courage to give you a name. The God who sees, nothing can hide from you. The God who sees nothing outside your view. You saw it, 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 you saw it. The story's been told for generations, passed along from voice to ear. I called you the God who sees, but it's not how it appears. Like a game of telephone, it traveled, every telling changed the view. Each preaching made it softer, each repeat a little more askew. You saw it, you saw it. Far from my home, isolated, afraid, a body alone in a borrowed land. You saw me doing what I had to do, trying to obey their every command. You saw the cruelty, saw it plain, saw it hand me over like a toy. You saw what was taken again and again. You saw my body and heart destroyed. I ran when escape came into view. Believe distance might set me free, but you found me there in the wilderness and sent me back to what you could see. I named you the God who sees. They heard it as something kind. They said you saw my heart, said it was part of your design. It was never meant to compliment. I named you the God who sees. It was always an indictment. You see it all and do nothing. You see the children, you see their pain, their hunger, their bruises, their abuse. You see the men who harm them while claiming they worship you. You see global wars, you see the suffering. You see it all from your throne and do nothing. You saw it, 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 you saw it. I didn't name you by accident. I didn't kneel, I didn't plead. I gave you a name that fit. I named you the God who sees. You saw it, 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 you are the God who sees. You saw it, you saw it, you saw it.
You guys, my song, You Saw It, is everywhere you stream music. It's under the artist CrystalJae, and it's from the album Ex Parte, available everywhere you stream music. Also, my podcast is out. The first episode dropped last Wednesday. The next episode will drop this Wednesday. Oh my God, the first episodes are so short. So go listen to them while they're short, because they get so much longer. The more I do sermons, the longer I preach. Okay, sorry. I just started finding out so much more about these people. Also, there was something else I was going to tell you guys. Oh, we're going to get rid of this little gold thing, because people asked me if there was a way that they could, directly help purchase the the computer for me. I now have a new thing on my link tree. It's called Throne. On Throne, you can support the show. You can buy me a cup of coffee. You can help pay a little bit of money towards the computer that I need. You can buy me a gift and have it sent to me. Whatever you want to do. If you want to support the show, if you go to my link tree, there's a new link there called Throne, and that's the way you can support the podcast, support the show, support my music, all the things I do. I was a Bible study teacher as a Christian. I actually taught women's Bible study as a Christian, and I also taught Sunday school, and I was an interim youth pastor. It's funny because I've talked many times about how I literally never went to college. I had no degree, and I don't really think that they should just let anybody be teaching Bible study in Sunday school, but they do. They do, and it was me. Yeah, recently somebody came up here and said that I had claimed on a show, which I never go on this show, so I don't know why they thought I was on that show. Anyway, that I had claimed on a show that I had went to like theology school or seminary or some shit, I don't know, and that I was an ex-minister or pastor or something. I have never said that. His, yes, it was his, Tahir. That's exactly his, who should not be named. I don't know why he thought that. I literally have said, I have always admitted that I am like the most uneducated person on this app. Okay. Everybody. One time I was sitting on a panel. This is such a true story. And, I think it was Deborah Grace's panel, and they were, Nick was on the panel, and Nick was introducing everybody that was on the panel. And so she goes, first we have the host who's like Deborah Grace, and she's an author, and you know, and said everything wonderful about Deborah Grace, who is an amazing author, by the way. Then we have, you know, Rabbi Hannah, who is, you know, doctor, well-educated, you know, blah, 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 names all her things. Then we had Dr. Bowen up there. So, you know, list all his, you know, he's an Assyrianologist, list all his things. And we have Crystal. I was like, hi. We have me. I do not have those degrees. I'm not an author, don't have those degrees. But now I have a podcast, so like I get to pretend like I'm somebody now, like all the other podcasters out there, right? Like that's a thing I get to do now, right? I think so. It was a moment of like clarification of who I really am, Tahir. Like if you ever wanted to knock me down a few pegs, that was how you did. Boom, boom. I'm not an author yet. I probably will turn my sermons into like a book or books or something. And you know, like, I don't know. I really think it's cool learning, going through the Bible as a non-believer and with these new views, right? And rereading these stories or reading them for the first time, because I always had said, and see, I think I admit a lot of who I was as a Christian. I think I was a liar as a Christian. I've said that before many times too. I know that I said that I read the whole Bible, but as I'm reading this Bible again, and we're going through it during non-believers Bible study, and I'm going through it as I write these sermons, I don't think I ever did read the whole Bible. I don't know if I just assumed I had because I'd read so many, like, because when we did Bible studies, we would maybe read a whole book over here or this over there. I don't know if I just assumed that since I had read so much of the Bible that I had read it all. I don't know what I thought. but I fucking do not think I read that whole Bible. And I know I told people I read that whole Bible. Also, I used to tell people, and we know Christians who did. I'm admitting the lies I told. So you'll, when you hear them out there from Christians, you can go, Crystal warned me about these people. Okay. But I know that I used to say, well, one of the reasons I'm a Christian is because I've really researched like a lot of other religions, and it's like the only one that really makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it really is the only one. And that was just a fucking lie too. By research, well, I read a pamphlet on maybe 3 other religions. Like, what? I did not research a ton of other religions. I don't think I researched one other religion. Not like, okay, like I picked up the Book of Mormon and read some of it, and I laughed because there was this part where it said something about the Moabites and the Hittites and all the other ites. And that was hilarious to me that they used ites as a plural noun. But I don't think that I ever, Oh, well, thank you, Robin. Silly goose. When I first deconstructed, I threw my Bible away. At first, I didn't know whether I wanted to keep it, but as I read some of the cringy shit that I wrote in that Bible, I ended up just throwing it away because I was so mad, okay? So mad. Hey, Alex. Good to see you. And then after listening to like Justin and stuff, I was like, I want to know what this Bible says. I want to know. I want to be as smart as Justin. And I'll never be. But I'll never be close to as smart as him if I don't ever read it, right? So that's when we started Non-Believers Bible Study like 10 years ago. And we're still not out of the Torah because I'm so slow at it. I hate it. But we're still going through it. And so I went and I had to buy this Bible I bought off of Amazon because I wanted the new Revised Standard Updated version. This is just the new Revised Standard Edition. But hey, Riptide, good to see you. Thank you for the heart me. Hey, Chapter, good to see you. Jenny, good to see you. So I got this one, and the reason I got it was cheap, but it also had the wide margin. Can you see those margins? So I could take notes in it. And yeah, so that's why I got this one. But then once I got into like studying it and hanging out on these lives with real scholars, like that's really fucking cool. I don't know why they let me. I don't know why any of them are my friends. I haven't figured that one out yet. Like, there's a lot of really smart people who let me hang out with them. Anyway, after I started hanging out with all these smarties, I started collecting Bibles. So I got like this little, I think this is just a KJV, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, this one, what is that? This is the Holman Pronouncing Edition, the Holy Bible containing the Old and New Testament, translated out of the original tongues, and with the former translations diligently compared and revised, the text comparable to that of the edition of 1611, commonly known as the Authorized or King James Version. So I got that one. But that wasn't enough, because then I got this one. I think this is also King James, because we know that people love King James, right? I'm going to bring up a guest here. Let me see real quick. I think this one is King James also. Yeah, this is also from the King James. Hey, Steve, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
54.
And are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yes, I am.
All right. And then I got this one. This is the New American Bible. That's large type and illustrated. And then I got this one. This is The Way. This is a Catholic version of The Way, which I didn't even know. It's considered the Living Bible. Oh, Steve left already. Did I have too many Bibles for him? But did my Bibles intimidate him? My stack of Bibles was intimidating. Anyway, this one cracks me up, okay? Wait, I gotta read your comments now. That is the only Bible I trust. A Lear reliable one I grew up with. I'm living through you all vicariously. Okay, so this one has, okay, so this one was like written in the 70s, and they wanted to relate to the cool hippie crowd because hippies, I guess, were cool in their mind or something. I don't know. Most of us who grew up in the 70s, we didn't actually think hippies were cool. Like when we grew up, now I'm kind of a hippie and I realize we are cool. But growing up in the 70s, I didn't think that. But they wanted to see her long hair and stuff. And okay, so I'm going to show you pictures that are actually in this. Okay. Can you see the people laying down everywhere around that, like, I don't know, monument or something? I'm going to read to you the caption. Okay. A nation east of Israel. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, it doesn't tell me what the picture is. Usually I thought it told me. Oh. Police, this is what the caption says, okay? Police estimate that 1 million American kids are currently missing from home. More than a few of them have come to New York City's Greenwich Village and other similar crash areas, melting in with the winos to form a curious montage for the camera-laden tourists. This city is a great place if you want to hide, says one young New Yorker. You could just drop completely out of sight from your past. Jonah tried that, but God was not about to let him off the hook. After all, he wanted the reluctant prophet to go help the people of Nineveh, sort of like dispatching a loyal South Korean to Peking. God eventually won the argument. But in the last episode, Jonah was still having trouble handling his responsibility. The important message of this book is not the well-known story of the man swallowing fish, but God's infinite concern for a city full of lost souls and his ability to use even an immature and reluctant servant. Anyway, this one was trying to reach them. Like here is a woman with her natural hair. That was unheard of. You did. There's this one that is really funny, though. For some reason, I really like it. It's one of those. Oh, look. What doesn't say we relate to you more than a guy playing a guitar? You know that they relate to you because there's a guy playing a guitar in this Bible. See, God knows you like guitar. God knows that you bought a guitar and you played it for a month and the calluses didn't form, and so you never picked it up again. God knows that. And obviously I do too, because I just told you that's what you did. We see you. Okay? There is one that is a giant slide, though, and for some reason, that one cracks me up the most. There's a no dumping sign. No dumping. I think it's Jeremiah, actually. Let me go. Does anybody remember where Jeremiah is other than the Old Testament? Is it after 2 Kings? I hate looking at an index, even though it would tell me whatever I want to know. Is it after that? Oh, look, there's a bug. What do you think that would teach us? What is the message of that Volkswagen Beetle right there? If you can't figure out what's the point of building a Volkswagen with a dual-blown Ford engine and a Hillborn injector system poking through the roof, leaving no room for people, don't feel bad. It's not supposed to go anywhere or do anything except look weird. Is this message going to be that it's okay that we look weird? What could possibly be this message? Or how about a chrome-plated customized wheelbarrow? At least it runs up to 100 miles per hour, its builders claim, and would look cool sitting in the school parking lot so long as the maintenance man didn't decide to borrow it for a little cement job during the day. Solomon might have been one of the customizers if he had lived today. He did lots of non-essential things looking for satisfaction. In this book, he tells about trying to get kicks out of homes, vineyards, gardens, parks, and orchards. Yeah, who needs homes, gardens, parks, and orchards? That's so fucking unnecessary. God, what a rube. Like, who needs a home? Why would we want parks? What the fuck? This guy just said those were not essential. Okay. That fell a little flat. So he turned to culture things like having his own private choirs and orchestras. Next came his well-known harem of wives. Was he satisfied, happy, content? As I looked at everything I had tried, it was all so useless a chasing of the wind, he writes. He flounders around through several chapters of discouragement, and when he finally gets to a solution, it almost slips past you. There are no bright lights or fanfares, but there is a bedrock meaning to life for Solomon and millions of modern pleasure seekers. Stop seeking that pleasure, you vile people. Go do your atheisms and stop trying to... There's another guitar player. One was not enough. One was not enough. We need... See, we have another... wait. There. Another guitar player. Yeah, who needs shelter? Silly. How dare he? Now, look, the reason why Solomon had thousands of wives was because he was just trying to take care of those women. Those poor, helpless women. Do people not realize what they would have gone through in those days if it were not for Solomon taking them in? Like, he was just trying to give them a place to live and feed them and help them have a child, because you were nothing if you didn't have a child back then. Hello? He was just, you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't do things. He was just trying to protect them. And they are xylophobic. In First Kings, we have a football player for the Green Bay Packers. So we have that. I still haven't found the slide. That's really my favorite one. I don't know why I can't find it right. Oh, I found it. Okay, I don't know why this is my... Did anybody old enough to go on one of those giant slides back in the day where you sat on a carpet and went flying down way too fast, and sometimes when you went over a bump, you hit your head, like as you went flying over the bump? Anybody ever do that as a kid? My son went on one with me, and we were going to sit like right next to each other. He was young, probably about 7 or 8, maybe a little younger. I don't know. And as we go to sit down on the carpet, the guy just pushed my son before like we even were on all the way. So he's flying down, and it kind of knocked him back. So he's like, I jumped on my carpet and flew down that slide so fast and grabbed him and picked him up. And that was my biggest superhero moment of my life. I really felt like I flew in and saved him. He doesn't even remember. He doesn't remember at all. But it was a core memory for me because I was so mad at that guy for just pushing him before he was really ready. Let's see what the super slide has to do with the book of Judges. I was wrong. It's Judges. By the way, you guys, the guest box is open. I'm going to be live for for just about 40 more minutes, unless we meet the gift goal. And if we don't, that's okay. You know, gifts are always appreciated. Don't forget, though, if you want to support the show, you can just go to the link tree and check out my throne. It has all different kinds of ways you can support the show there. Okay. Grab a piece of carpet and flop down head first if you dare on the downhill track. The playground slides of your childhood are dwarfed by the biggies where you pay quarters and rip over the drop-offs as long as your stomach can take it. Can you imagine in the 70s? Hey, Zach, come on up if you want. We used to pay quarters at carnivals and stuff to ride their rides. What are you guys paying? Like $10 a ride nowadays? Like, I don't even ride the rides at carnivals or anything because they're so damn expensive. It's ridiculous. The book of Judges is the story of Joshua's once powerful nation on a spiritual super slide. They had to stretch for this analogy, don't you think? They were like, hey, there's a cool picture of a super slide. Where can we put that? And then they just were like, okay, now how do we make this? How do we make this work? At least 6 trips down into sin, followed by invasion and conquest, and a string of courageous judges who would take charge and lead the people back up to God and independence. Guerrilla fighter Ehud, I don't know how to say his name. Ehud, I don't know. Ehud. A tough woman named Deborah, self-conscious Gideon, maverick Jephthah, and even Playboy Samson were used by God over a 175-year period to bail out the wayward Israelis. The last 5 chapters of the book are samples of the religious rackets and sexual perversions of the times. It's a rather grim record of what happened when everyone did whatever he wanted to, whatever seemed right in his own eyes. Babe, we still do that. Y'all don't even agree what that book says. Okay, so that's one of my favorite versions I have, but I didn't stop there. I don't know why I bought this next one. I'm telling you, I just really like it. But it's the Book of Mormon in Dutch. I don't know why I got it. I don't speak Dutch. I'm not Dutch. But it's in Dutch. I don't know. It was just cool. I think it was $1. And I figured, I don't know. The last one was called The Way. And this one I happen to have. It's the Living Bible. And it's the Illustrated Catholic School Edition. But I believe that they made it in other, I think I had this as a Protestant. And so it didn't have all the books that this one has in it. So I think there's a Protestant edition of this one. And then I also have this one. Oh, I think y'all gonna follow this one. Let's go that way. I also have the Oxford Companion to the Bible. Ben, how are you? Good to see you. Anybody wants to come up, come up. And meanwhile, I will play you another song. I think one of everybody's favorites is Abelina Ballerina. But I'm going to say hi to Ben first.
Hi.
So bright. Hi, how are you? I don't know why I made myself bright accidentally.
You got flashbanged.
There we go.
Every time I'm on my live, everybody notices. Every time while I'm looking up stuff, I get flashbanged by something, and I'm like, oh God, because I usually sit in a darker room.
I am in a darker room, and so sometimes it's just like, oh, okay. What happened to the light right there? So how have you been?
Had a rough week. Boyfriend's grandmother died. So we had to deal with that, and she was a deacon at her church, so there was a 9 to 5 full day of religious services that we had to sit through.
Oh,
She was an
I'm
amazing
so
woman.
sorry.
She was an amazing woman, so I think it was worth it, you know, as respect to her, but it was just a lot. So you had the open casket thing, which lasted like 3 hours, and then we had to drive an hour to the cemetery. Then we had to go back to her church and do a meet and greet there. And I, you know, every time they did a prayer, I just sat there and stared into the void.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. I think there's a lot of people I would do stuff like that for.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot. Not a lot. But there are people I definitely would do stuff like that for.
Right.
There are definitely people I wouldn't, though.
Yeah. I sometimes I just feel like I feel self-conscious because, you know, I won't even bow my head. There's specific things that I do during these things that I do on my own time. But like I'm always worried like some person will like look over at me just as there's a prayer, see that I'm not bowing my head and being like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But
No, it's just funny to me now that I'm older and now that like I just have more interactions with people and stuff. It's funny to me that when I was a Christian, and so I'm going to say we as Christians because I'm talking about me in the past. We assume everybody should assimilate to what we're doing without any regards to the fact that they may have their own religious beliefs. And you have your own religious beliefs.
Yes.
And like, no, you don't ever assume people should assimilate to yours, you know? And that's wild to me, the narcissism that Christianity holds when it comes to that, you know?
well, the other thing is that this is, you know, there was a cultural hit here too, because oh, that's my dog. I was like, what the fuck is that sound in the background? My boyfriend's black, so his family is African American. So they have, you know, this woman was 98 years old, grew up in Georgia, had a very, you know, religious upbringing. Again, was a deacon at a church. So, you know, there's that very much African American Christian heavy thing there. And yeah, when you're in that space, that's not the time to cause a ruckus.
No. No, it is not. And it's nice that you're very respectful and you know, and honored her in that way and what she believed and what would have been what she wanted, you know.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah. And she was one of the first people
actually,
to welcome me into the family. So it was.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
I don't really go to funerals anymore. And like, I just like to honor people the way I want to honor them when I lose somebody. I have found like the last person who died who was significant in my life was my best friend, and I did not go to her funeral because I didn't want to comfort people. And you tend to have to comfort other people while you're grieving, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to comfort some people that I knew didn't know her like how I knew her, that didn't love her the way I loved her. I felt like it would diminish my chance to grieve her, if that makes any sense. And I thought, like, you have to put on airs when you go to a funeral. I wear clothes that I'm not comfortable in.
Yep.
I have to act a certain way.
I had to
have
buy
to
a
do
suit for
certain
this
thing.
because I don't have a suit. I had to go out and buy one.
And you know, the funny thing is, if I had asked my friend, like, let's say we could have our funerals any way we want, she wouldn't have given a shit if we dressed up. She wouldn't have cared if we met at a church. She wouldn't have cared about any of that shit. She would have rather I'd gone and she would have rather I'd done what I did do.
Yeah.
Oh, it is messing up. Okay, I will have to fix the video afterwards. I have to do something that I can't. Let me try. You guys, if you're over on YouTube, I'm going to try to fix you right now. Give me a minute. I have to restart this, I think. No, that's not going to work. Let me try something here. Hang on. Okay, give me 1 second. 1 second, YouTube.
It's God trying to
I know you can't hear
stop
me
you
now.
from YouTubing.
I know. He just doesn't like it when I'm on point. You know what I mean? It's like, dang her. She's like so on point today. Somebody shut her off her YouTube. This is why we are trying to get me a better computer, you guys. These issues will not exist if I had a real computer. But anyway, okay. Hopefully that fixed it. I don't know if it did, but I will fix the video and post a better version of this video on my YouTube channel if you guys want to play it back. But I don't know if you will, because it's just been me yapping a lot today. It's really what it's been.
Oh. You've been getting ops though, right?
Yeah. I had one op earlier, and then I had people waiting as opposition, but they didn't wait long enough. They left because I talked too long to the one guy. So for my best friend's funeral, what I did do was I made a playlist of the songs her and I used to listen to back in the day, because that was the one thing that we really had in common, was we really loved music together. Like we had like a whole bunch of songs that were like our songs. And then I got, it was 420. You know what I mean? I did that. I'm trying to
I have
not
no
say
idea what you mean,
did,
Crystal. Can you explain it to me?
because that's what her and I used to do too.
What do you mean? What
School,
does 420
right?
mean? I don't understand, Crystal.
And
I'm
then
just
we
a good
would
little
go
boy.
listen. I know, you're such a good little boy. And then I went and listened to the playlist, and I laughed and thought about all the fun things we did as children. I knew her since I was a little girl, and we went through elementary school, middle school, and high school together. We, were there. Each of us, fell in love for the first time. We did everything together. And so I just wanted to honor her in my own private way. And I didn't want to have to deal with other people.
Yeah, I get that.
Who didn't see her the way I did, So
My
I don't go to funerals anymore. I do my own thing.
I was in a weird position not too long ago. I told you that my biological father died, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did share that.
And I wasn't
Sorry
even
about
invited to the funeral by his wife, which I was like, mixed. I was in this mixed way in my head. I'm like, I didn't want to go to this fucker's funeral anyway. He wasn't a great person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not even offering for the son of the person who died to go to the funeral
Right?
is something to be that's a little
crazy.
weird.
That's crazy. I was raised by my uncle, and my real father was an asshole. Like he's just a disgusting human being. But I knew that my father, who raised me, still loved him. Like for that kid he was, you know what I mean? Like he still saw him as his little brother. He
Right.
couldn't handle to understand what a horrible person that he ended up growing to be. He was in complete denial about that. He had a lot of cognitive dissonance when it came to what his brother really grew up to be. So I told him, look, I'll go to the funeral with you. I don't want you to go alone, and I know you want to go, and so I'll go with you. So I went to my real father's funeral, but it was just so gross. It was just like people could not think of anything nice to say about my father. It was actually almost comical. This one uncle of mine stood up and was trying for the life of him to come up with a story that, like some kind of anecdote or something that showed what a good man my father was, but he wasn't a good man. So there was just like nothing to find in his arsenal. So he was like, I once saw him move an entire refrigerator with his bare hands. And I was like, that's what you got? My dad could move a refrigerator? That's the redeeming quality.
He could lift things up and put them down real good.
Right? Yeah. There's never been a strong man before him or after. You know,
Not,
I was
not
like,
at all.
wow.
Not at
And
all.
then my brother got up and told like a story about how it doesn't matter whether or not my father was a Christian. He says he was, and we can only go by what he says. And which now that I'm out of it, I don't know, seems just like every other Christian to me. But, yeah, so maybe he
Yeah.
was a Christian, you know.
Yep.
But anyway, he said, and then my brother went on to turn it into a sermon like, you are no better than that body that's in that casket right now if you don't accept Jesus and blah, blah, blah. But the best part about that whole entire, you guys, this is my life. Okay. This is the best part of the whole funeral was that my sister and I couldn't take it anymore. So we got up and left the funeral. And at that time I smoked because it was like the 80s or 90s or something. I was like, I still smoked back then. And I walked out of the church. Her and I went to the very front of the church, and because we thought we would be far enough away from the doors to the church. So we walked around and stood in the very front of the church and smoked cigarettes and sat there talking during the funeral. Then we went back in. And while we were inside, somebody else went outside and walked around to the front of the church, where we realized that you could see an entire silhouette of that person during the funeral. And that meant the entire time we were outside smoking cigarettes and talking, everybody just saw two silhouettes of us doing that during the entire funeral. So yeah, that's what I did during my father's funeral.
Oopsie poopsie.
I put on a show
Oopsie
for
poopsie.
everybody. He deserved it. He really did.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to be live for about 20 more minutes. I'm going to play a song for everybody right now. We're going to play Abelina Ballerina.
Well, I'm going to drop down.
I'm
I'm going to drop down in the chat box for
Okay.
you. It was wonderful talking to you,
Okay,
Crystal. Have a wonderful
Thanks
day.
for coming up. It was good to see you. Have
Yep.
a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Abelina ballerina, spinning in her tutu. All the world's a stage, lacing up her ballet shoes. Abelina ballerina, they applaud as you dance. You're so precious, little angel. Dance away if you can. Abelina ballerina, wooden floor counting time. In the mirror she's a swan, arabesque in pink tights. Abelina ballerina, sitting still in a pew. Preacher says that light you feel doesn't really come from you. They tell her every step is borrowed, her plie heaven sent. And for every bow she's taken, she's got something to repent. Abelina ballerina, stand still, don't twirl. It's your fault if they're not holy, so be a good little girl. Abelina ballerina, preacher says, let us pray. Closes the door so no one hears, calls it a special game. He says this is guidance, says she's holy, full of grace. Claims God needs her silence, blessed are those that obey. Abelina ballerina, the light has left her eyes. She no longer hears the music, and her steps are out of time. Abelina ballerina, remember how you twirled. Who's to blame if they're not holy? You're still just a little girl. Abelina ballerina, stand still, don't twirl. It's your fault if they're not holy, so be a good little girl. Abelina ballerina, those aren't butterflies you feel. Life grows heavy inside. no way to conceal. They say her name like a warning, obedience her only crime. While he preaches purity, taking them for every dime. Abelina ballerina learns what judgment costs, learns who gets forgiven and who pays the loss. Abelina ballerina learns to mother through the ache, learns that love can still be sacred even after what they take. She devours her education and her eyes begin to shine. Music pours out from within her and her steps fall back in time. She reads the words they cherry-picked, preaches truth they try to hide. She interrogates the God, she uncovers every lie. She shows why nothing ever changes, who the system benefits. Men of God who feed on power, abuse, shame, and the grift. Abelina ballerina, show me how you twirl, spinning in the sunlight, dancing with your little girl. Abelina ballerina, dancing center stage again. Abelina ballerina, dancing barefoot in the sun. You're so precious, little angel, and your dance has just begun.
Have you guys seen the Joel and Justin video yet? Tell me, what is it? What's it about? Has anybody watched it yet? I saw thank you so much. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I saw Mezzo go up on Justin's live, and he seemed really distraught because he said like they were becoming friends, and Justin tried to tell him there was plenty of room in his heart for all three of them. And I don't know, it just was really dramatic. And I just, hope our little bosom buddies are okay out there. I haven't watched it yet. I need to. But because of it, it made me think of Star-Crossed Buddies. And we're going to listen to Star-Crossed Buddies because I don't play it very often. And it's such a good song.
We're out of the country, somewhere we can't say. Beyond takes the calls, or so we claim. Mezzo's got his markers, you can guess why. Joel's at the piano humming spiritualize. They talk Amalekites and wet boxes too. They run the talk using philosophical kung fu. Mezzo just shrugs, then draws something lewd. They are the internet's BFFs, just doing what they do. We're star-crossed buddies, logic and rage. Fate threw us both on a podcast stage. One drops facts, the other drops shade. And we spank Christians in bad Bible debates. Yeah, star-crossed buddies, skeptic souls. If heaven's real, we'll pay the tolls. At least we'll be together while shoveling coal, keeping hell's furnace hot for every last scoundrel.
Come on up.
Mezzo's near the grass in a dad bod frame, whiteboard ready for the penis game. Joel tickles the ivory musicality, singing out strong objective morality. They say they're streaming out in some land afar. Bjorn handles business from a Swedish bar. Joel hits a chord, Mezzo says pick a card, and somehow they're both TikTok rock stars. Bjorn says, boys, tone it down. We say, buddy, we're nobody's clowns. We're best friends forever, and we're hellbound. We're star-crossed buddies, brain and bite. Faith versus science in a fist bump fight. From LA sun to the northern lights, we ask the questions and joke out of spite. Yeah, star-crossed buddies, cosmic pals. We love facts and joke, bush-free gals. If doubts of sin, we're first-rate. Bjorn hit record, we're running late. I'm not a science guy. That's fine, I am. And I drew it to scale. You drew another dick, didn't you? for science.
We're not going to listen to that one right now. Hey, Robin, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Crystal. That's the first time I've ever heard someone talk about drawing a dick for science, though. That's different.
Yeah, Mezzo Joel draws a lot of dicks for science. Well, or something. I don't know. I think it's actually for amusement, but he tries to claim it's science. I
Sounds like good old Christian Science to me.
don't know. It's the only way he can really get people to understand. Robin, have you ever seen Mezzo draw a dick on a whiteboard?
Admittingly, I'm familiar with Mezzo, but like I don't watch him all the time, so apparently not. This must be a thing
Oh,
he does often.
it is very often, so much so that on Sunday, after his atheist Sunday school, he did a very special video premiere where it was just every time he's drawn something inappropriate on a whiteboard okay, so what he does is he'll go, a Christian will be explaining something, okay? And it will be stupid, okay? It will be very much word salad and bullshit, okay, is what they're doing, okay? And he'll go, hang on a second, I'm very much a visual learner. Let me grab my whiteboard. And he will pull out his whiteboard, and no matter what they are talking about, it does not matter if they are talking about the Trinity. It does not matter if they are talking about heaven and hell. It does not matter if they're talking about the Garden of Eden, okay? He will draw, usually a dick, but I have seen him draw a vagina as well. He will draw a dick out of whatever they're saying, like every time. And they do not ever get it. It is so funny. Like they never realize that he has literally just drawn a dick.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I'm just imagining him
It
like
is.
doing something with the Trinity,
Yeah.
drawing up
See?
like a penis and testicles, and it's like here we have the Father, the Son, and the Holy. I can just imagine it. It's so funny. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Yeah.
This sounds like
Oh, yeah.
something right up my alley.
Yeah, if you check his news feed, if you're scrolling his news feed and you ever see a whiteboard, just go to that one and click, and you'll see examples of what I'm talking about. And some of them are so very pornographic, and they still don't get it. They still don't get it while he's doing it. It is crazy. It
Maybe it's
is
because
crazy.
while they're thinking about it, the God part of their brain is active, so they just don't recognize it. Like a totally different part of their brain is being used.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, oh, look, she put the link. Is that the whole whiteboard one? That's the one? Oh my God, that's awesome. Tahir put the link in the TikTok. So if you copy and paste that into a browser, you should be able to go right to the ultimate video of Mezzo teaching us all through his whiteboard talents. So yeah.
I copied it. I'm excited. After this, I got something to look forward to.
He used to do a lot of card tricks too, so he hasn't done those. And I love it that one day they were listening to this song, and Joel heard the part where it says a card tricks or whatever in there, and he goes, "You haven't done that in a while." And I was like, "It's true, he hasn't done that in a while." But he used to. He's really, really good at magic tricks. Mezzo is. He just hasn't done them in a while. That's why he likes to debunk psychics and stuff like that who come up and tell them that they do psychic readings and stuff. He likes to debunk them because he knew how to do all that stuff.
It actually really saddens me how many people believe in that shit and they get conned by these psychics who actually, people like Sylvia Brown as an example. People thinking,
Yeah.
oh
Oh
my
my
gosh, my
God.
loved one's in Aruba somewhere. Oh my God.
No,
It's
it's
sad
true.
and
I
it's funny
used
at
to
the same
be,
time.
I think that there's this longing to have one to say things to people that we've loved who, passed away. And I know there are things I wish I could have told my sister or asked her or, just knew about her that I don't know. She was 17. I was like, 12, you know. Let's see, if she was 17, I was 11 or 12. And so I get that. Like, I used to watch Sylvia Brown and wish I could talk to her so that she could talk to my sister until I found out all the horrible things that women did. She told people who had missing children that they were dead, and they weren't dead. They literally found the people alive.
Or the inverse, she would give people false hope too. But their
Yeah.
kid's still out there alive. And so you have these families that, you know, for years and years never stop searching, only to find out, yeah, there's been a murder or something awful like that. It's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, Montel did love her. Nerd, the guest box is open. Nerd Fala, come on up. I'll explain to you what I mean by Christians don't believe in miracles. If you want to have a chat, I'll be live for about 10 more minutes. If we do reach a gift goal, which I don't think we will, and that's okay. I do stay live an extra hour. But if not, I'm going to call it a day and eat some lunch, and then I'll be back tomorrow. But yeah, if you want to come up, Nerd, the guest box is open. And we would be glad to talk to you about why I think that Christians don't believe in miracles. I think they say they do. I think some of them think they do. But when their feet are put to the fire, everything about miracles collapses under their false belief system.
You know what? Admittingly, when I was a Christian, I believed in miracles, but here's the caveat to that. My bar was so low. And the way that my thinking was, I was one of those people that would say stuff like, I think somebody that chooses never to do drugs or drink alcohol, that's a miracle. I think a young lady that chooses to save herself for marriage, that's a miracle. I was one of those people. And there's nothing miraculous about any of that.
I think because I heard Al Jarreau today playing in the elevator, and nobody even knows who Al Jarreau is. That is clearly a sign from God and a miracle that I heard him in the elevator today, because I am blessed and highly favored, and God knows I like Al Jarreau. I actually used to think that. I'm not joking. If I heard Al Jarreau, I thought God was like sending me a message about how much he loved me or something, because I liked Al Jarreau and nobody else did. So nobody else did, although he was a Grammy Award winning artist. This is what I thought. I just want to tell you the level of of deceit we tell ourselves. The lies we tell ourselves as Christians is ridiculous. I think we lie to ourselves the most when we're Christians, you know? Hey, Orion, good to see you. Welcome back. Good to see you.
I used to listen to a lot. Well, I still listen to metal sometimes, but I used to listen to a lot of metal music, and this is so cringy now that I'm thinking back to it. I used to tell people, be like, hey, have you heard this Christian metal group, man? It's so cool. And they would turn it on, and I mean, of course, they're just screaming, so you can't understand half of what they say anyway. And they'd be like, actually, this is pretty good.
Oh no, I was like that with Christian music too. I loved like DC Talk and Newsboys, and oh my God, and I would have told everybody, this is such good music, you should listen to it. And now I listen to it, and it's just, it's vapid, as Joel would say. It's vapid. Yeah, I don't know, man. I did love Keith Green, and I still miss Keith Green's music. And Joel was really sweet one day. He was telling me, you know, Crystal, you can still listen to it and enjoy it for what it was. You enjoyed the actual music, and you enjoyed the way he wrote lyrics and the way he sang. And I did. It's just hard to listen to songs where he like dedicates his, you know, family to Jesus and stuff. I don't know. Doesn't have the same feel anymore. Hey, nerd, welcome to the show. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
31.
Okay, and you're a believer of the God of the Bible?
No, not at all.
Oh, Okay. Well, we're talking to believers of the God of the Bible today, but you asked earlier why I say Christians don't believe in miracles. And the reason I say that is because Christians often tell me they do, but everything miraculous that they tell me isn't miraculous. It's things that we already can do. They'll tell me somebody was healed by cancer after going to chemotherapy. Yeah, that's not miraculous. They'll tell me they found their keys after they prayed because they couldn't find them. Again, not miraculous. But when you ask them to pray for something miraculous, like immediate healing me from all of my arthritis, they say God doesn't work that way. When I say, can you please go and pray for one of the vets to grow their limb back, their arm or their leg, they say God can't do that. So to me, what they're saying is God can't actually do miracles. God can only do what humans can do.
I think miracles is subjective there. I think to most Christians, miracles, what you're saying is not a miracle, is a miracle to them. Because it depends. Maybe to them it's impossible someone to survive cancer. Maybe to them.
But it's not. So it's not a miracle. That's
you,
my whole point.
Right? But to them it's a
no,
miracle.
It's not
to them,
miraculous.
That's what counts.
It's scientific.
That's what counts. It's to them.
Right.
They
So
don't
that's
care
not
about
really
science.
a miracle. But I do care about definitions, and I care
so
about
to
words.
you, it's not a miracle. To them, it is. So you cannot
That
say
means
that
they're
it's not a
just
miracle to them.
changing the definition of a word. And we need to have definitions so we can clearly communicate to each other.
The definition fits, madam. The definition fits, because a miracle is something to them in their own minds that would have really had happened in their minds. Okay, maybe I'm just an idea. Sorry if I'm disturbing.
A miracle is an event understood to be caused by a supernatural power that goes beyond the normal laws of nature and cannot be explained by ordinary physical causes. So that is the definition of miracle, and that is my whole point, that they claim ordinary things to be supernatural, and that is not a miracle. They do not actually believe in miracles. They believe that ordinary things are miraculous, and that's not what a miracle is. That's my whole point. Christians don't believe in miracles.
If you heard the examples that I gave earlier, I was talking about how I was one of those Christians at one point that believed that if a woman, let's say she went into her 30s before she ever had relations and she was a virgin until her wedding day, I considered that a miracle. Somebody that willingly chose never to smoke, drink, or do substances, I considered that a miracle. But those aren't miracles. People can easily, or maybe not easily, people can do those things and there's no supernatural unexplainable phenomena that takes place.
Exactly.
But you are somewhat of, I don't want to use this word, but you're somewhat awakened. You understand that. But Christians don't understand what you are saying. So to them, that's my whole, that to them it's a miracle. You at least you understand that.
I was a Christian, so that's why I know that they don't understand, and that's why I have the conversation, so I can help people see.
To us, but to them it's not. To you, it is true that it's not a miracle, but to them, can you put yourself in their shoe? To them,
I was a Christian, so I did. I was in their shoes.
A miracle. To them, it is
right. And my point is that they're wrong. That words have definitions, words have meanings, and if we go by the actual definition of miracle, they don't believe in them. If we let them twist the word to mean something else, then they believe in it. But I don't allow people to do that. Words have definitions. Words are not subjective in our language. They become subjective as they change. But we definitely have definitions. And a miracle is a supernatural, it's something that's caused by a supernatural power that is not done by any normal or ordinary physical causes. And when they come up here and tell me that they had a miracle today because they got a parking spot right in front of their work because they prayed, that's not miraculous. Parking spots open up. Oh, he left. Well, you guys, it's the end of the show anyway. I want to thank everybody for being here, especially my special guest, Robin. Robin, I love you. Thanks for coming up and hanging out with me today.
It's
so
always
good
a
to have
pleasure.
you. And Ben, thank you for coming up earlier. And for everybody in chat, KJ Silly Goose, Longbeard, Orion, Montel Williams. Oh, he wasn't in chat. He should have been. Tahir, Greg DePlume stopped by. I don't know if he's still in here, but Greg DePlume, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for all the gifts, all the likes. Kyle, thank you so much. And I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I don't know what's on the docket tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have another sermon for you or not. I do not know these things. What I do know is Thursday I will be back. Oh, I do know that tonight at 12:01 a.m., episode 2 of Auntie Sermons drops. And who is that about? Oh, it's about Cain's wife. Okay, so check that one out. And then I don't know what else is. Oh, Thursday is Non-Believers Bible Study. And we're trying to do that on Thursday mornings so that Rabbi Bert can come by. I think that's all I got for you guys right now. I'll be working on the music video this week. If you still have more clips to send me, send them away. Let me know that you do send them so I can try to work them in. I love you guys. Who are we raiding? I know there's only 15 of us in here, but we should go raid somebody. Who's available right now? Is Trust But Verify live right now? Is Joel live? Joel going live during the daytimes now. I can't catch a break. No, I'm just kidding. Live from New York. It's Saturday night. Dougal, Trust But Verify, and Tiny Science Dougal just came in here, so he must not be live anymore. But you guys go raid somebody. Tell them Crystal loves them, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you around the mean streets of TikTok and YouTube. Bye, everybody.